actually sound like me right now.
Oh, yeah.
Alright. Get this pod filled up, get my tea ready, and we're going to start going to full fucking war. It's 3/16 day. Time to deliver some fucking stone cold stunners! Oh shit, almost forgot. Substack. Post that note. Dude, I'm hearing a huge delay.
I'm not.
No, I mean I'm hearing like I'll talk and I'll hear it like 5 seconds later.
I have no idea.
Like I'm hearing me through your speakers.
Nope, because I'm wearing a headset.
Then how the hell is this happening? It's weird. Okay, hang on. Here we go. Counting down.
Dun,
Well,
dun, dun.
I do now. I know you can hear me now.
Yep.
I know they hear me. It's
Oh no, we could hear you before the the stream went live while you were still in the getting ready.
Try that. Yeah, I know. It's one of those things of stupidity that just tends to happen. So let me try a headset here and see if that works. Maybe. Skill issue.
and I was all on the ball today.
And okay, so I'm getting audio out of like one ear here, and I still hear myself being fed back, and I have no idea why. And my camera has decided to swap on me. There we go. Well, at least I don't hear myself being fed back anymore, but then I can't hear anything else, and fuck.
The malevolent deities of technology.
Oh, microphone. Okay. Okay, I'm not using the webcam. Yeah, tell me about it. Tell me about it. But thanks for joining us, everybody. It's your boy Raven, and I don't know. This is not solving my problem at all. What the hell? Oh, shit.
Everyone can delight in the aged face of my dwarfishness. Oh no, it's extra great. It's sad, but it's great. I have a friend who's undergoing chemo currently.
Yeah, I'm even hearing a delay with you.
Don't know. I put it at the feet of Rumble. But my friend who's undertaking chemo, his girlfriend knitted him a knit beard, since he does not currently have his regular beard, and it is most dwarfy. It is vast.
Okay, I think I might have solved it. Hopefully. Or I think I know what's going on here. So let me just kill that. There we go. I think that solved it. Okay. So about 11 minutes into the stream, we can finally get down to introductions. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Stone Cold Day. It is 3/16, and I'm waking up and choosing violence.
Oh boy.
I think it's needed, and I think it's time to be a little less gentlemanly about how we do that. So, Raven, we can hear him. Yes. What's up, Marcus? Marcus is with us. Mercurius is with us. Welcome,
Bastard
everyone.
is with us.
Yes, yes. Thank goodness. Everyone, I am still getting used to how Rumble does things, so bear with me here. And of course, there we go. This one, Lady Adnor, got to show you guys something. Should have had this right here on hand, but brand new book. It just hit Amazon, and I got the very first ever copy. This is the first copy in existence, and I got it. I've been reading it, still going through it, and this is one of those books that, having kind of skimmed through it before, and going back and actually reading it now, I can tell you one thing: I kind of wish I had this back in the day when I got started, because it does provide a lot of very valuable information. And it does help you feel like if you're practicing a solitary craft because of where you are, you're not alone. So that's very big in my opinion. And yes, it was a skill issue. It was definitely a skill issue. And where do we start? I know where we can start. I know exactly where we can start. Matt fucking Walsh. Matt, I'm coming for you. Buddy.
Okay. Before you dig into the particulars, because I am a savage. It's like, well, Joe, didn't you read? Aren't you on the? No, this is what experts are for. Who is this person And why does their opinion supposedly matter before we get into their stupidity?
Well, for starters, Matt Walsh is nothing but an extreme rage baiting grifter. The difference is now we've seen that before. We've seen it with Kim Belair. We've seen it with tons of others. Chris Kindred and all those people at Sweet Baby Inc. that I talked about 2 weeks ago. Only now, this one, he's not with them. He's just with the extreme other side. He still wants to ban things. He still wants you basically between Matt Walsh and Kim Belair. They're two extremes. They're two sides of the exact same coin. A coin I have absolutely no fucking use for. And these people are nothing more than just grifters. Grifters trying to, they're joyless fucking pedants trying to make you as joyless as they are. And that's my entire take on them. I have absolutely no use for these people. But now this whole Gamergate 2 things come up. Naturally, we're the bad guys. We're to blame because we don't like what they're shoehorning into every fucking video game, and their sales are tanking. Gaming journalism's dying, and they're cornered. They're desperate, and so now they want to start coming out of the corner swinging, and all they're going to get is stomped back into that corner like Stone Cold stomping a mud hole in their ass in the corner of the fucking ring. And now this guy comes up and says, well, you're all just childish anyway for playing video games. I'm like, bitch, no one asked for your fucking opinion.
Look, have
Literally nobody. We already knew what your opinion was. You didn't have to go fucking reiterate it. Matt Walsh, take a theater row of seats along with Kim Belair, along with Chris Kindred, along with Bart fucking Vickerness, and shut the fuck up.
See, I do not. It's not that I do not share your choler. I want these people to, get hit by a truck in Minecraft.
I
But
don't even want it in Minecraft.
I cannot get to the same level of vitriol because for me it's just a confirmation of what I've said the entire time. Right? The argument is, right? We saw this in tabletop. We saw this last time Gamergate came around. We've seen this for other things. Is oh well, we were always gamers. We were always involved. We're the real fans. You just didn't know, right? And I've always said that's bullshit, right? But then they followed up by saying, and those people we don't like, oh, they're the false gamers. They're the tryhards. They're the Johnny Come Latelys. They're the ones that are making everything else bad for everyone else. And yeah, on their list of accusations is childish man baby. But the thing is that I know who used to say those things to me back in the day when I was in high school. And that's the popular kids who didn't game. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You look at our metaphorical schoolroom and you have the same groups you always had. There's the outsiders who just don't want to fit in. There's the nerds who just want to be left alone to do their math homework. There's the jocks, there's the preps, and there's the popular girls. Right? And the popular girls and the preps and the majority jocks. But I mean, come on, we all know there's always that one jock that's actually really into D&D, right? They are more interested in their social status than in just being chill, right? And it's true. You have those guys. You have the nerds and the outsiders that are really jelly and wish they could be popular too. So they're salty. You got those guys, right? But it's always the same thing. How do we define our special status? We need to make somebody else not special. Let's do those gamer weirdos because they don't seem to care, right? And that's it. It's the exact same thing. In high school, these people were the people that made fun of us, right? And now that they are claiming to be gamers and they're claiming to be the one true path, they're still making fun of us because they need to in order to feel important. I don't know who the fuck Matt Walsh is. You say he's a grifter, it's like, oh boy, because we needed more of those. I don't give a shit what his opinion is. I don't understand why anyone else does. You know, I'm more interested, quite frankly, when a corporation says, well, you should get used to $70, $60, $80, $100 games. I think more people should be pissed about that. The fact of the matter is that GG2, no matter how important it might actually be, while it's a real thing for people like you and I, and Sweet Baby Inc. is a thing that should be dealt with, it's not just a grift, it's camouflage. Look over here, get mad about this. We're totally going to be stiffing you in the back somewhere else. The corpos love gamers fighting gamers because they profit off of our lack of vision and unity.
Well, personally, I just want to share this real quick, just to let them know.
That wonderful vision of a shoreline with stuff growing on it.
Yeah. So if you can see it, because my entire browser just decided to freeze.
Oh,
so
of course.
I'm gonna wait this out. But if you can all see it, I just want to tell every one of these people, this is the Dead Sea. It is the saltiest thing on earth, next to your bitch asses. And there it is. So now at some point this thing will actually let go. But for now, I guess we can talk because the ticker's still going, but it's saying Brave's not responding. And I'm like, yeah, no kidding. We're doing this again. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. It's completely frozen. So I don't know if anybody's seeing me on camera or.
No, I can see you.
Okay, great. So we'll just kind of. I guess we'll just kind of hang here until this thing decides to get its shit together.
But I mean, Wolfgar, have you seen my field?
Your field?
Yes, this is yon field where I keepeth my fucks. Alas, it is barren.
Next season ain't looking too good either. Okay, finally got that. Okay. Yes, the garden where we grow our fucks is completely barren. There is one thing that is not barren though, and that's Iggy. Iggy is growing, y'all. And I wrote an article not too long ago which displayed exactly what growing something has actually taught me, and good lessons all around. But Sweet Baby Inc., we really got to go on that one. Let's go through this progression. This is the part that blows my fucking mind. Okay, so we got Sweet Baby Inc. We got Cabrutus, who decided to curate a list. Here are the games that Sweet Baby Inc. has actually worked on. You make your own decision. You buy from them or not, completely up to you. But they have been inserting all these identity politics shit into these games. If you're tired of it, don't buy from them, or don't buy from the studios that have worked for them. That's the more clear part. So really, what did Cabrutus do? He did the exact same thing Sweet Baby Inc. did. Sweet Baby Inc., who actually advertised the games they worked on, the companies that are their clients. I mean, did we need it? No. We could have gone to Sweet Baby Inc. and seen that for ourselves.
Oh my God.
However, putting it in front of us on Steam worked pretty well. Now they want to call it harassment. It was not. They tried to get him canceled. That did not work. They tried to get with the platforms, and the platform said there's no violation going on. That didn't work. Then they went to the gaming journalists that are failing left and right. That didn't work. Everyone saw through it. Now they have escalated this thing to having the FBI and Department of Homeland Security. By the way, if you're in those lobbies or in this one, I got some sign language for you here. Trying to get them to spy on gamers for extremism. Jesus Christ. These people, since they couldn't convince you, they couldn't confuse you, and they couldn't absolutely consume what might be left of your brain. Now they want the full force of the government brought down on you.
And
Well, I
you
mean,
know
hey,
it's true, because Stone Cold said so.
and every one of these sons of bitches gonna get a mud hole stomped in their ass and march dry and ass the bottom line because Stone Cold said so.
But holy
Jesus
shit!
Christ, son! Don't
But
take this ass whooping personally.
but Wolfgar, we gotta note something weird. A little accomplishment on the show. Shadow and Sun is here before 10 o'clock.
Yeah, made it in, made it in, and that's a pretty big moment.
I ain't calling him out. I'm just saying it's like, oh my god, he's here for the show. He's actually here for the show. Holy shit!
Let's see. I'm gonna go here, and we're gonna pin this one. SBI is only a part of the problem. That's true. They are a big part of the problem, in my opinion. The really scary part is the discovery of the nonprofit org Take This, how it's funded by DHS to spy on gamers. Not entirely true. They are funded by a grant. That grant will run out. So we do have that going for us. Now, some of the games they listed on SBI Detected were removed. Why did they get removed? How did they get removed from their list? I would like to know that myself. And then Cabrutus tried this. This was the other one. Cabrutus did that. To my point, Cabrutus tried to bring customer awareness towards product with DEI injected into them. They've gone after him for it. That is true. Here's the thing: when we point that out, they in turn said, "Yeah, it's like having a list of businesses that employed Jews during Hitler's reign." Jesus Christ, they will try to spin this thing any way they fucking can.
Well, two things. One, it's a case of rules for thee, not for me, because clearly they're fine with having lists of their own.
Oh yeah,
that have publicly become aware, such as the bad tabletop list of bad boys, right? And then the other component is the only reason they didn't try to go after Total Biscuit was a combination of he was a popular internet figure and he died. Because if you recall, just before Gamergate started, Total Biscuit was leading the charge on a corpo practice of 60 FPS games being throttled down to 30, right? And literally started a Steam group that was a list that basically we mark games that have been throttled, so you, the consumer, can know. If he was still alive today, I suspect he would have made a similar thing for essentially Zoe Quinn or Ultra Femme or whatever you want to call it, extremist supporting games, right? We're the consumers. We have a innate, inalienable right to freedom of choice in our products. That's why it's an economic system. You can't compel me to buy garbage because it's politically acceptable to you.
yeah. That's the thing. I think what they're afraid of is they're afraid of losing their businesses because they are all going under. Every one of them. There's no exception to this rule. If they're not already gone and dead by now, they are dead. They are dying. They are just shambling zombies, and that's exactly why I'm gonna show you this. Here we go. Going to the website now. Hopefully, it'll let me share a website instead of a picture.
I mean,
Verifying you are human. Well, you goddamn well better. Yeah, verifying you are human. Here we go. Okay.
I mean, I think that is a scurrilous lie.
Oh, fuck off.
How dare they presume your species?
Exactly. So I'm going to share this. Oh boy. Here we go. We worked on character arc, voice, and sensitivity reading for Alan Wake 2. Sorry. Sensitivity reading for what exactly? That's what I want to know. We worked on writing and character voice. Okay. We worked on narrative direction and design, writing, and world building. We worked on story consultation. to the studios that made Spider-Man 2, I could have saved you. You could have saved a ton of money just by going to the comic books and then taking source material from there. That's it. Save a ton of money. We worked on God of War Ragnarok. I knew there was a reason I had not picked that game up and tried it. We worked on narrative and character consultation with a focus on representation of what? Of what exactly? I really would like to know. And these are just a few of the games that they listed right here. So they're listing their own games. Our clients, we can just start scrolling through and
Oh
see.
man,
There's
That-
Ubisoft, no shit.
it-
Xbox Game Studio, that's why I don't own an Xbox. Electronic Arts, Valve, Santa Monica, 2K. Well, I was kind of looking forward to the new WWE game, but now that's not going to be a thing.
well,
Square
here's the
Enix,
thing.
Warner Brothers, Finji, Polytron, Rocksteady, Co-op, Compulsion Games, Deck 9, Wizards of the Coast, and you can sit there and you can tell me that they were just on for the video game. I'm going to call bullshit
Well,
because we
here's
see
the thing.
the attitude just pervasive throughout Wizards of the Coast. Who most of their staff is gone now. We also have Raw Fury, Juvie Productions, Eco Software, People Could Fly, Remedy, so on and so forth. And let's get in touch. Let's not.
Well, here's the thing though. As you look at that list, right?
Yeah.
You can actually spot the dishonest actors, the bad eggs, right? And they're the same bad eggs we've always talked about because they do other shitty things, right? Square Enix, you just had the list up and now the list's falling out of my brain.
Yeah.
But
Electronic Arts,
Ubisoft,
2K.
yeah. On the other hand, it's like, well, Valve's on that list. Valve is a paragon of industry virtue. They're pretty chill because they just want the money and they haven't actually used their position to impose any kind of censorship, any censorious actions that you think this group would want, right? So we do have to keep in mind that at least on some level, yeah, some corporations go where they have to because they believe they have to, right? It's in their conduct that you find out what they're like. And that's why we can't give Wizards the pass and go, well, they're a toy company. They were just there for the video games. Like, no, their conduct has been shit. We know their conduct has been shit the entire
Their
time.
conduct is shit today.
Right.
It's nothing new. It just keeps becoming more and more shit. Okay, here's the thing. That whole OGL thing from a little over a year ago, that was them telegraphing a move. We saw it and we kicked their ass on it. So with this, computer games are a bigger industry than pen and paper RPGs. I'm going to absolutely agree with that. But look at what's happened with the pen and paper RPGs today. We have had battles in look. I'm going to say this. My friend Angelique pointed this out to me. She said, what you're seeing in pen and paper RPGs is a much larger version of the shit behavior you've seen in Second Life. And I had to agree with her. And for a moment, I was like, why did I go back to this? And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I got it. I know exactly why I got back into this. And there are plenty of games that aren't. There are plenty of independent creators and studios who appreciate my business. They want my business. They will do anything to get it, but they will not do some shit like this. So I think with the computer games portion of this, and I really want to bring this up again. So with the pen and paper, with the pen and paper versions of this, I think it's important to remember that these people stepping into that fucked up when they did. And I sat there and I said this a long time ago. This is where we fight back. This is where we get on our battlegrounds, where we push and tell them absolutely fucking not. And we stop buying from these major companies. Because the moment we give our companies to independent people who appreciate our business, the minute we give them to independent comics, independent video games, independent films, whatever it is, the game's over. This investment money's running out, and they know their time is short. So, and Mercurius, I have to disagree on the fact that on what you say here. They're not a protection racket; they're extortionists. If I did this to anyone else, I would be facing charges of extortion. And yeah, I'm with you. Let's see. Let me go back. I'm with you on this one. Fuck WotC and Hasbro. That history of D&D, that 50th anniversary edition book they were doing, $100. You can play original D&D out of it, but there's so many cheaper and easier ways to do it, like White Box by the Basic Expert, Delving Deeper, White Box FMAG, Swords and Wizardry. I mean, there's so many different versions of it out there. Take your fucking pick. You know, I still want that book, but I'm gonna wait for it to go on sale at Ollie's. I'm just gonna say that. But I have to agree here. Always support independent producers of entertainment. Yep, absolutely. Let's see what. Cal, I'm already racist. My wife's black. Her name's Kim Belair. Yeah, Kim Belair she's an extortionist and nothing more.
So here's a perfect example of what we're talking about. I'm going to ask you a weird question, Wolfgar. Is this what you actually want to talk about? Do we actually want to sit and talk about how much gaming companies piss us off?
No, right. I'm going. There are going to be a couple other points that I did want to bring up, but
let me go with this for a minute. WotC is going to celebrate the anniversary of D&D, the biggest event since Gary died, right? And I'm sorry to tell people, but if you actually think about it, Arneson passing went much quieter than Gary. People were upset about Gary. We love Gary. Gary was great, right? So here you are. You're basically at the memorial. What do? Do you talk about how much you love the product, how deeply it's affected you, how it's improved lives, how it's made communities, how it's pulled together disparate people of all walks of life and created that wonderful egalitarian super equality realm of existence you're talking about? Do you actually talk about how it's empowered women and empowered the alt lifestyle people and how it's made the world a better place? Or do you take 20 minutes out of your video the clip that you specifically out of your way to share on YouTube because you have no awareness to shit talk the game? Because the thing is that when we got our clip of that upcoming video, right, or that upcoming film rather, and people were like, "Oh my God, why are they talking shit about old D&D?" I saw people respond, go, "Well, it's only 5 minutes and it's only two guys talking. I don't see what the problem is. Why are you man babies so upset?" And it's like, because bitch, that's not good business. And it's not indicative of people who give a shit about the product.
We don't give a shit about your sensitivity readers. So, like I said, all these new books that are coming out, we'll wait for them to hit Ollie's. Then maybe we'll get them. And you know, I don't think I'm going to give any more than about $10 on it. That's what happened with the board game, Warriors of Krynn, $100 board game, $10. I'm looking. Give it about a year. Maybe we'll see it at Ollie's, and then maybe I'll pick it up and be like, you know, I am literally going to post a picture of it at Ollie's. I'll be like, hey, I'm buying about maybe 2 copies of these. Because you suck. You're getting like, what, pennies on the dollar for this. So, what the fuck?
Yes, the most glorious of breakfasts, McDonald's.
Right on. Okay. But, okay, Alchemical Transcendence posted this. I always like anime and manga because woke BS is pretty non-existent in that medium. On anime, you're wrong. There have been a little scandal full of localizers who are now changing the entire script for English audiences as though we wouldn't notice.
Oh, we always noticed.
Yeah, we always notice. Guys, I hate to put it this way. We are nerds. We're pretty spot on. We will notice stupid shit. And we will call it out every chance we get. And yep, and I actually have Marcus, I actually have some of those on my last article that I wrote. As a matter of fact, I will share that now because I know people are like, "Wait, what? What's going on?" And I'll share it right now because here it is. Here's the video with Kim Belair. We're just gonna watch
no. Okay, here we go.
You're creative working in AAA, which I did for many, many years. Put this stuff up to your higher ups. And if they don't see the value in what you're asking for when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
So she's advocating terrorism. I put this clip in here which shows you all the romance scenes between Eivor and Broder, which
I mean, in
were
a healthy
not
industry, doing what she's outlined would get you fired.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not because of the positionality being held. It's the idea that you can both go over your boss's head and that you can hold the marketing department to ransom. That's stupid.
And here we go. Here's some more Kim Belair for you.
We work very hard to get marginalized talent into the industry, to protect them the way that we would want to have been protected, to lift them up, and to get them into an industry where they're too often shut out.
That's because of capability. So you're hiring incompetent people and protecting their incompetent work, putting all the actual work on the competent people and not compensating them properly. That's what's going on. So,
and basically, I think to take over.
That's the entire thing. That's why I say all the competent people should be leaving these companies. Let these idiots have it. Let them break it. Let them fuck it up. Let them set fires. Watch them burn to the ground. And if you're blacklisted from these companies, start getting together with other blacklisted people and creating your own, and then watch them burn while you make all the money.
Oh my God! I know how.
Take over.
I know how we got here.
Some really dope people will be able to lead, into kind of a new era for an industry that's been kind of the same way too long.
This is brilliant. I know why this is happening, and I know when this happened, and it's you're seeing it in real time. It's like that head explosion thing. Do you remember the middle management apocalypse of the 90s?
No, because during the 90s, I was actually working for my dad.
Okay, so whether you like Scott Adams or not is irrelevant. Scott Adams describes being a corpo drone before he did Dilbert, this idea called the Dilbert principle, which is the idea that the least qualified people get promoted to where they can do the least harm, middle management. And this being a variation on the Peter principle, where people rise to their highest level of mediocrity, right? The Peter principle assumes that people are actually qualified at the jobs they're in, but they can't go higher because they lack skills and wherewithal, right? The Dilbert principle presumes that your boss is actually a ravening incompetent, but it's safer for him there because while he has authority, he doesn't have seniority, right? He can't actually implement policy. He can't actually undermine the company. During the 90s tech boom, there were massive layoffs in middle management because computers actually allowed you to not have to manage so many specific increments of the job. You didn't need the vast human infrastructure of
Yeah.
unqualified middle managers. Those people still have enough executive wherewithal to find jobs elsewhere, right? So they did, in industries that are both very traditional and smaller, right? So when we say, well, these people are protecting incompetence, why are they? Why aren't the people who are qualified doing something? The people who are qualified are gone. The people that are in charge now are incompetent middle managers now in positions of seniority in businesses where they should never have been in charge in the first place because they survived the culling. Which means that when a young 20-something comes in and says, I want to change around everything and make this, ethnically appropriate for everyone, or whatever the pet politics is, right? The incompetent middle manager who's now a project lead for a division goes, well, I can't think of anything wrong with that.
Yeah. And Jamie and her gang of mean girls think changing the script because they think the Japanese need help in understanding women or other marginalized groups is condescending. I 100% agree. No argument there. There you go. Hail heathens and anti-communist revolutionaries. Hail to you too. I've got, but we're going into incompetence and things like that. We remember that WotC and Hasbro has laid off thousands of WotC employees, gutted the D&D creative team. All the people Larry and Studio say the people they talked to before aren't there anymore. We're seeing that, and now I want to rewind a little bit because this is also important. I'm sure that there was a little controversy about maybe not last November, but the one before that. The one that I say took me off my project because I was so sick of fucking listening to it. Chaosium comes up and goes, "We will never use AI art." And then there were all these companies, "Oh, we're going to do made by human hands," and all this other stuff. And I sat there and I looked at it and I went, "Oh God." I watched all these people just trip over their own feet, falling all over themselves, praising these companies. "Oh my gosh, look, we'll never buy AI anything," and all this other shit. But I sat there and I said it. Give it time, people. Yes, you're fawning all over them now. Yes, you're cheering them on. They'll be back to calling you a Nazi very shortly. I said about 2 weeks. Well, fast forward that to what used to be current year. New Dungeons and Dragons sourcebook features AI generated art by Linda Kodega.
Yep. Oh, they got embarrassed bad about this.
Mm-hmm. And here we go. We've got the artist right here. There's recent controversy over whether these illustrations I made were AI generated. AI was used in the process to generate certain details or polish the end editing. Now, personally, I don't really have a problem with that. Whatever. It's whatever. The artist is using the AI to fill in the blanks in some places. That's fine. I don't care.
Just be honest about it.
Yeah, Skippin states that a lot of the painted elements were enhanced with AI rather than generated from the ground up. However, this does not change the fact that AI generated images were put into the book. And I'm like, And they show you the difference here between the AI, which is on the left here, and the one that was artist generated over here on the right. And of course, continue reading. So, deleted previous post as the future of today's illustrations is being discussed. Illustrations are going to be reworked. And this one's from Bigby's Presents Glory of the Giants.
After all the shouting, they decided to change it up.
Yeah. And they had an official statement on Twitter. Let's go to that official statement, shall we? Today, we became aware that an artist used AI to create artwork for the upcoming book, Bigby Presents Glory of the Giants. We have worked with this artist since 2014. He's put years of work into the books we all love. While we weren't aware of the artist's choice to use AI in the creation process for these commissioned pieces, we have discussed with him, and he will not use AI for Wizards work moving forward. We are revising our process and updating our artist guidelines to make it clear that artists must refrain from using AI art generation as part of their art creation process for developing D&D art. Okay, that was their official statement, and this was August 5th of 2023. So I kind of wonder what's going on now, because they used AI art, they're updating artist guidelines, Magic the Gathering, and they've been busted time and again for using AI art, and now they're actually going to use it. D&D publisher says AI art banned from all its books going forward. No, it's not. That's bullshit. They're going to use it, and that's been revealed by Clownfish TV and others. They've put them on full display. They've called it out, and guess what, ladies and gentlemen? If Wizards is doing it, I guarantee you they are the first domino to fall. They're going to take everybody else with them. And you might have one little stalwart just waiting it out. But I'm going to tell you right now, the reason I wouldn't buy Wizards of the Coast is namely over that OGL thing. But there's so many more reasons I wouldn't. And their hypocrisy being yet another one, kicking up a shit stick over that. And I'm going to say this, I'm back on my project. And guess what? It's going to be for the Wretchedverse. The Red Room, who does use and has been transparent about using AI art as well as human-generated art. It's going to happen. And if you didn't buy Cowpunchers, which is, let me just pull that down because I do happen to have it on hand right here. If you didn't buy this book, I don't want to fucking hear it, because guess what? Let me just flip to real quick. And here's the thing. If you go look it up on Lulu, I actually have part of the byline, but there it is, edited by, boom, right there.
Your boy
Raven edited this work, and it's made entirely by human hands. Basic expert John Torres wrote it. He illustrated it. Don't give me that shit if it's not my fucking genre. If you were one of the ones that sat there and just hounded me about fucking writing this shit for the Red Room, I don't want to fucking hear it if you didn't buy it. If you didn't buy that, and if you didn't buy it, you need to go ahead and do it, because it's not because I worked on it. I'm not getting a percentage. I'm not getting anything out of it. All I really wanted was a physical copy and a PDF. I got those. I'm happy. I think you should buy it because it's a good game. And that's exactly that's the whole reason I was, that's the whole reason I was even pushing that game, was because I was proud of it. I took money out of the equation, ladies and gentlemen. There's no money involved for me. I'm just proud of that work. That one made entirely by human hands. Wretched Darkness, first or second edition, does not fucking matter. That book, I don't care whether you get it in PDF. If you get it in PDF, great. Get it in PDF. If you want the physical copy, you just can't afford it right now, get the physical copy when you can. Wretched Darkness, I did additional writing on the Paimon Tarot mechanic. Tell me what the fucking difference is. Both are great games. You've got the studio Modifius, who's made Cult Divinity Lost into an absolute shit show of preaching, pandering, and I wouldn't be surprised to see something else in there. Starts with a P.
The reason you get Wretched Darkness is so that when I put out my game, you can use it with that content. My game, or my accessory book rather, if you recall, I was going out of my way to find indie comic artists because I want to evoke that 90s black and white horror comic vibe, right? And it's like, I got no problem with Red Room using AI. You're a small press. You do what you got to do.
And that's the thing. Miguel has gone on record He has been very open and transparent about using AI generated art, AI enhanced art, and even artwork from other artists like Jay Tanaka, uh, Rob Necronomicon. I think he's done some art for him. Basic Expert, David uh, David Guile from Awful Good Games, the creators from Dungeons and Delvers, used some art from them in the original Wretched Bastards. Both were featured. Both artworks were featured in that book, that little slim book that I show you in my Courting Controversy article. And it's nothing new. The thing is, and this is the difference. A smaller independent artist does not have the resources that someone like Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro would. They have fucking budgets, people. Some of them, like Chaosium, are doing full fucking Kickstarters, which I don't fucking understand. They've been around since the fucking 80s. They are not what I would call an independent studio.
Well,
Meanwhile,
no,
you got guys like Jason Bay from Elflayer Games doing their thing. 13 Parsecs is about to hit Kickstarter. We got Victor, who, congratulations, just got Bunker in the Badlands, that stretch goal funded for Modern Necessities Professional Edition for Old School Essentials. You got John, again, the Basic Expert, for this book right here, which I had nothing to do with, but I'm still, the hardcover is on the way. It's at the printer right now. And this is my little book for the players, my little beater book that I can pass around. So that's why I got this one. But this game right here, old school D&D rules, set in the Aztec Empire. Why the hell would you not?
Oh, I know why. I'm just saying it's not true. We're indie and we like to support indies, and indies, oddly enough, like to support us, because that's ultimately what you're talking about. When Miguel is open about, yeah, we use AI because we poor, that's transparency, right? And the Red Room gets together every couple of weeks and they have a sort of a State of the Union address where it's like, here's the stuff we're putting out, here's what we're up to, how you doing? And they talk about random things, much like we're doing right here, right? What is WotC doing? Not just the thing about the 50th anniversary of D&D. No, there's the other thing. And I know it's WotC. And how do I know it's WotC? Because I'm smart enough to see between the lines. Are you ready, Wolfgar? Are you down to talk about Daggerfall?
Oh.
Do you need some tea? Do you need a minute? Do we need to have a tea moment? Just quietly consume.
I'm gonna need tea and weed for this, Jesus. But
right.
I will settle for tea for now because
All
you
right.
know. But anyway, like I will say this, just before we move on to that.
Right.
WotC has been sitting here railing and oh, we won't be using it moving forward. Well, we're going to use it moving forward. We're going to use it moving forward, and that's what it's going to be. And they've basically just come out and told you they're going to use AI to write this shit too. And they've got all kinds of stuff that they can literally strip mine from the past for it. And with that being said, I think we all know exactly what's going to happen. And I don't think any of us should be buying anything from WotC moving forward. I think it's, call them out on their hypocrisy. At least the Wretched versus Transparent. So that's, I'm super pissed about that because that project should have been done. My project should have been done by now. They just released a game called Supermax, which features a prison for superheroes. I was actually going to work that into my game. I'm glad someone else released that because now I don't have to. That's less work for me. Thank you so much to the OGGM for making that. And my goodness, I still have to read through the rest of that one. But what pisses me off were these people that fawned over fucking Chaosium and their fucking virtue signaling and then acted like I was the asshole for wanting to write a project, telling me just don't put art in it. Motherfucker, this is not Classic Traveler. And then secondly, throwing a site at me with fantasy fucking clip art and stock images. It's not a fucking fantasy game, assholes. Read the goddamn rumor, ask some fucking questions.
Oh, I was having
and I'm looking at WotC and I'm thinking, you fucking morons. Hasbro, you fucking dickheads.
Oh, I had an extensive disagreement with my boss yesterday. Not a bad one, because he was open to it, but still a disagreement. Because we were talking about Battle Mouse for Virtual Tabletop. And I was like, boss, I don't have the skill set, but if you really want to make a bunch of money, make modern maps. And he's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, if you go searching the internet, you find two things. Sci-fi, which you can do double duty as post-apocalyptic, and fantasy. It's the only kind of maps on the internet. If you're running something that's set in the modern day, and you're like, I need an office building. It's not there. It might as well not exist. It's mythical, right? And I wasn't told I was wrong, but the approach is very much like, well, nobody would need that. I mean, you couldn't sell people on that. And it's like, yes, you could. So when we're talking about these decisions in gaming, it's important to remember that basically by supporting a company that hates you, you are also making up for their shortfalls.
Yep.
Right? When they make narrow-minded decision-making, they bank that you will continue to support them so they can continue to make bad decisions rather than make the decision that best supports you, the consumer. Bad business practices are anti-consumerist. Yeah, we cannot see you, Raven. Are you hidden?
I know. I'm making tea right now.
Okay. Yeah, we're making tea, Waylon. Just chill. But with that in mind, I got to bring it up again. We come back around to suspect number 6, Daggerfall. So everyone's expecting, because anybody who is listening to me long term loves hearing me flip out, that I'm going to start talking about combat wheelchairs. I am not.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Everyone assumes I'm going to start talking about DEI and representation. I am not. What am I going to talk about? I saw some articles claiming that Critical Role's Daggerheart as a game, which is barely a game for anyone that has actually looked into it, is set to compete with D&D and why it's better. Now, I'm not going to defend D&D for its legacy or its lifespan, because that's not what we're talking about. The question is, why would media, the dying game journalism that we've just described as kind of suspect, want to position Daggerheart as the direct competitor to D&D? Why would they do that? Could it be because Critical Role is made up of a bunch of former WotC employees, or rather a bunch of YouTube personalities who suck the corporate cock, who are making their own game with hookers and blackjack so they can divide the market between pro-crit and anti-crit communities expressly to try and keep D&D at the top? Because what they don't want is a competitive market where people look at things like Wretched Bastards or Pathfinder or Mashutle or anything else that they can get, because they want you to be focused on that Daggerheart. Daggerheart's going places, guys. Honest, you mouth-breathing sucker.
Yeah. Well, I could say this. I got a call middle of the night. Friend of mine's playing in Second Life. She got some kind of notification. One of the the way it works is if you're part of a group, like say around a certain storefront, you join the group and you get like free gifts or something like that. And then sometimes someone will come into a chat and the chat will just open up like a notification and then you can take part. one of her fashion groups popped up looking for there was a brand new body. It had just been out for maybe a few hours. Some groups, some storefronts had actually made stuff for it. This one had not. Like I said, this body was hours old. So there's some conversation. She's just kind of taking part because it really doesn't matter to her. And she ended up making a friend. They talked geek stuff, and they ended up having to take it to direct messages because some of the people in the chat were getting a little pissed off about it. And she's like, all this talk of gatekeeping, and we bring it up, anyone can join in, and no one wants the conversation. And I was like, okay, that's cool. So she tells me, like, she's just kind of new to tabletop. I just kind of got her introduced to it. She initially thought, it's nerd stuff. I really don't want to deal with it. And comic books were another thing. It's nerd stuff. I don't want to deal with it. And I would be, at her place, and I'd be like, hey, that you're watching right now, you really like it? She goes, yeah. I was like, that was a comic book.
Nerd stuff.
Yeah. And it went on and on until her curiosity was piqued enough to where I ran a couple one-shot games just for her. I ran her to the comic book shop and, let her look around and everything. She was really overwhelmed at first. I've loaned her some of my comic books and let her read them. She found them really interesting. I showed her how to get some of her own through the Hoopla app, which I'm a big advocate for. If your library participates in Hoopla and you want to read a comic book without buying it, that's a great way to do it. You can read the entire run of Sandman if you want to. Just make sure your library participates. It's a great way to get into comic books. It's a great way to try before you buy. I highly recommend you do it. But I gave her a few titles and said, here, go check these out. She did. She was really into it. She just kind of took it and ran with it. So now she's discussing this. She and I, we really don't watch Critical Role. But Critical Role has had its share of controversies. We know about Orion, who got erased from Vox Machina, the animated series. We know about him. The wildly inappropriate comments he made, one of which was directed at another player's wife. And I was like, okay, so this friend of mine might just be my friend, but if Orion had made a comment like that to her, I'd have introduced him to what the term skull drag means.
I do not know this.
Would have been live on camera.
Do tell.
I'd have beaten the shit out of him. And then on top of that, you had Brian, the Brian and Ashley. I didn't know about this. The Brian and Ashley controversy, where he basically like isolated her and did shit to her, and it was all under their nose. This guy was an integral part of Critical Role. They had to erase all kinds of shit because of him. And I'm like, now Daggerheart and Candela Obscura, they are virtue signaling so hard with these games. It's overcorrection. It wasn't needed. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in either of them, to be honest. All of them can go to hell.
So I have a question real quick.
Yeah.
Because I've missed a couple episodes. Is Alchemical Transcendence new? Is he newly around, or have we known him from long and I just don't remember because I'm retarded?
The combat wheel says, yeah, he's been around. He's been around, yeah.
Because I like I said, I wasn't going to talk about it, but he's asking, so I feel I need to fill in the gaps. So for anyone who is not aware, if you are new to this thing,
I will bring it up. I actually do have it. I'll bring it up.
Yeah. I want to say a physical therapist, someone who works with people who are disabled.
Nope. So this was a person who is paralyzed.
Okay.
The lady who wrote it. The lady who wrote it is actually paralyzed. She's or disabled rather.
Okay. So a disabled person felt that it was inappropriate that they could not see themselves.
Of course.
D&D. That D&D was ableist and awful because there was no option for playing a disabled person.
Of course.
D&D. So they made a accessory, an optional free accessory. I have it too, actually. For the combat wheelchair.
Let's put an asterisk next to optional.
Right.
We really need to clear that error right there.
So what it is it's literally with magic and medieval level materials. We're going to make you a probably wooden chair that is the equivalent of the most elite modern sports wheelchair, so that your character too can be just as stabby, just as capable, just as stompy, just as smashy, just as zappy as any other D&D character. And we're going to get rid of all of the negatives for having a wheelchair. So it can't be targeted, it can't be smashed, it can't be knocked over, you can't have it stolen from you, because any of those things would be deeply traumatizing to a player with a disability. And of course, the correct people, that is, the people who say they are correct, ate it the fuck up. They loved it hard, right? And then this nature of optional became not so optional, because it immediately became, well, if you're not for this, you're the problem. Because why wouldn't you want people to have wheelchairs? Why wouldn't you want people to be able to play whatever? Why would you try to curate their experience, you asshole?
And
right.
Here we go. The combat wheelchair. This is by Sarah Thompson. This was 4 years ago that this was her thing. I'll share something else too. So while we're going to spend some time tearing this down, I'm also going to spend a little time showing you something else. This is the bad idea. Okay, made with the adventurer in mind, the combat wheelchair is supportive and intuitive, designed for both daily activity and the pressures of combat during one's adventures. It can be specifically tailored to its user with a variety of intuitive upgrades designed and created by first-rate artificers and their disabled consultants to ensure high-grade comfort and excellent efficiency. Not only this, the wheelchair prides itself as being sleek, fashionable, and durable at a price affordable for the discerning mobility user.
I'm doing the power fist for alchemical transcendence. He's like, what the fuck? Disabled people aren't weak. We are a mentally strong people. We are resilient. It's like, speak it. Power.
Taking its design from the chair used in sports such as wheelchair basketball and rugby, the combat wheelchair can withstand height impact and even work as a weapon in itself, providing the user with a means of both defense and attack. Anyone can be an adventurer. That's been the point from the start, Sarah. But it can float up and down stairs. Isn't that unfair? No, unless you plan on making all the able-bodied characters at level 1 also remain on ground floors only. That's never been the fucking point. That sounds ridiculous. Well, it can be used as a weapon. Isn't that fair? No, unless you plan on taking every player's weapon. If you were planning on doing that, then that's fair. That's bullshit. That is totally bullshit. Additionally, this chair uses the D&D established rulings that it cannot be used to make extra attacks until level 5. Oh, fuck's sake.
So,
and how quickly? We'll make level 5 in about 2 sessions. But this chair has equipment that comes with it. Yes, in very much the same way a sword comes with a sheath and a belt. Okay, you cannot use the sheath and the belt for anything other than hanging the fucking sword off of you. A Dungeoneer's pack comes with ropes and caltrops. That is a backpack. Oh, for the love of fuck, this is not... A horse comes with a saddle and bridle? No, they don't. You purchase those separately.
No, my personal favorite is the next one. The next one's great.
But wheelchairs have never been used, have never been in D&D. This is nonsense. We suggest you read R.A. Salvatore's Drizzt novels, which are canon to D&D.
So 2 things, real quick.
Cite the specifics!
No, it's funnier than that. So 2 things. One, is it a combat wheelchair where the person is fighting in it? Or is it a magical throne that someone floats around in? Or is it a actual wheelchair for an actual disabled person? But putting that aside, here's the other one. Canon to D&D. D&D has a canon? Since when does D&D have a fucking canon? I'd love to know. My homebrew doesn't recognize your Forgotten Realms bullshit. R.A. Salvatore, great writer, can go fuck himself. I don't need his permission not to have wheelchairs in my fantasy setting.
This chair was never created to make a disabled character better than an able-bodied character, but
And
you
yet
did
it
it.
does.
It was made to enable characters with disabilities to go adventuring the same as an able-bodied character. If you take issue with disabled people celebrate, it's not that. God damn it, we're not. What we take issue with is you making the fucking terms of it.
Which brings us to where do I stand on this and why do I care?
Look, a nice half suit of armor, enchanted plate armor for the legs, hips, and back.
Oh God! Wait a minute.
Would easily do the exact same thing without as much fucking shoehorning as this goddamn thing.
I now have this mental image. We need to find an artist friend to draw it. We need to do Joe Swanson from Family Guy in a suit of enchanted armor that makes him float, but it's half mail, so his little legs are still dragging on the ground.
Yeah, they never put the specifics in there ever.
But my problem, where do I come into this, is one, I don't like being dictated to. Okay. But two, you can't tell because I'm sitting down. But Joe is a cripple man's. I have cerebral palsy. I am the disabled that this thing was made for. And the two things that I fucking hate are being pandered to and the misbelief that all disabled people are some kind of monolith, that we're all here to make your lives better by our impressive example. We're so special. We're so neat. It's like, no, I'm not here for you. I'm just living my fucking life. Let me be. I want to play a dude who looks like Arnold and drops one-liners. That's my thing. If I decide I want to be a character with a disability, I will. In fact, I'm running a character with a disability.
I've actually played one character with a disability. His disability comes from a net run gone wrong. So now he's in a wheelchair because he doesn't want Arasaka. He doesn't want to be in debt to Arasaka. So there you go. Now I'm going to show you this one. This one I'm actually okay with this one. Now same person made this, and as soon as it gets there, I'm going to be pulling it up. And
while Wolfgar's pulling that up, the combat wheelchair has since been pulled. The person withdrew the document. Right, but what started this section of conversation is Daggerheart in their preview content specifically stated they're going to have combat wheelchairs in their own system.
No, of course they are.
Of course they are.
Of course they are. Why would they not?
Right. So what I'm getting at is that WotC wants to position itself in a way to make you think that you only have two options, and they just happen to control both options.
Mm-hmm. Now this was also made. This one says Adrian Mark, but
those are
writing and designed by Mike Pondsmith, James Hutt, Cody Pondsmith, and Sarah Thompson.
That's pretty awesome. Does it have a gun on it?
This is a cyber chairs supplement. So you have the Spider cyber chair and the Mercurius cyber chair. Basic model Rockland Augment cyber chair. It cannot equip cyberware options. Or the Spider cyber chair, advanced model Rockland Augment cyber chair. It can equip cyberware options. Now, this to me, I'm okay with because it's setting appropriate.
Yeah, like I said, stick a gun on that thing, man.
Yeah.
It's like, I am the turret. I am heavy weapons guy, and this is my weapon.
And I'm going to say this, the reason a lot of this kind of stuff fits within Cyberpunk, and you can go back to the 80s on this, and this is only a 3-page supplement here. It has 4 option slots for installing cyber arm, cyber leg, or cyber limb options. So they always count as if they were paired. Installing an option in the cyber chair costs the same as installing it into a cyber limb. The spider chair, along with any other options installed within it, cannot be rendered inoperable by EMP effects like microwave repulses, non-black ice program effects. Okay, so this would be something that my hacker would probably not be interested in because he'd be in a lot of fucking debt. And the reason a lot of this fits within cyberpunk is because cyberpunk is all about style over substance.
Well,
so it doesn't matter whether you succeed or fail as long as you look good doing it. That's a very superficial future that you're looking at.
Well, again, that's the problem with the fantasy version of the combat wheelchair.
Mhm.
Is once you dig into the particulars of the mechanics and the fact that it's a piece of equipment that anyone can acquire, and it's supposed to be something you can take at level 1, right? Despite its magical enchantments, it's actually the inverse. It's like, why would you not take the combat wheelchair? Let us all ride into battle in our magical pushchairs that float 3 feet above the ground. We charge into battle. It's like, no, fuck that.
No.
Because I could totally see in a cyberpunk that if I was playing a hacker, a different hacker than your hacker, I would be like, yes, this is my chair. No, I don't need it. In fact, because I'm not disabled, I have added a drink holder while I hack. Yes.
Yeah. But like I mean, look, no one's trying to fix you.
Right.
Because you're not in the game. This is a
Right.
character you create. There may be elements of you in there, but you're not your character. And this is the thing that, like, back when I started playing and my dad became aware of it, there were times he's like, play at the kitchen table. We were going to play this in my room because we were going to get a little loud. He's like, no, play it at the kitchen table. And we didn't understand, but we were like, hey, we got a kitchen table. Let's play there. So we had this nice big kitchen table. Could be me or someone else running a game. And then after it's all done, we're packing away the books and everything. Mom's not home, so he has us kind of playing out in the open. It was a lot of fun. And then he spends a couple minutes and goes, all that stuff you were doing, that's not real, right? You understand that? I was like, yeah. And he's like, okay, just want to make sure. And then he went on to say, like, anytime we saw news of shit going on, someone had killed themselves and no, they blaming D&D. He goes, I want to know where the parents were. Where were they? Did they not teach this kid fantasy from reality? This kid obviously had problems. What's going on? Now, all the kids with the fucking problems are playing this fucking game. They're getting way too into it. You can't kill my character without my consent. Bullshit. You made a dumbass choice. Your character fell into the pit. Your character is not coming back. Roll up a new one or pull out your spare. This is what we're up against now. These fucking narcissists who think that they own everything because reasons. Not true. Reality, you were able to escape reality for about 10 years. It's over now. It's done. It's collapsing in on you. And the thing that you can do, you have one of two choices. Enjoy it for what it is. Make it your own at your table. If you don't like mine, that's fine. You're not required to sit at my table. Just like one of our former guests who decided to say, fuck you and your table. I don't feel safe there. Motherfucker, how weak are you that when things get to be a little too much for you, you can't look up, look around and realize that the biggest threat to you is the junk food you're eating at the center of the fucking table. Jesus Christ.
Like I said, I'm running a disabled character currently.
Mm-hmm.
And it is one of the characters in the game that everyone loves and wants to take care of. Okay? So get this. Her name is Memento Morrison, and in the 1920s, she was a folk singer who got embraced to Clan Nosferatu. Right? So what do you think her Nos creep is? How bad do you think it is?
Well, I think you've talked about that.
I might have. Because
you talked about that where she was communicating to people from like sewer gutters and stuff like that.
Right.
And she was like absolutely maddening fucking hideous.
Right. Because her problem is she has no bones and no skin. She's just viscera and musculature.
Jesus Christ.
Right? So she squiggles around in the sewers like some kind of octopus, right? And she just bleaks this rancid, disgusting, almost corpse butter like fluid, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Gross.
oh yeah, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. The reason she can't go to the surface isn't that, because you can hide that with obfuscate, right?
Uh-huh.
The thing is that her when people see her physically, right, whether she's obfuscated or not, they feel a combination of personal physical desire, because you want those organs. That's some sweet looking organs. But then they also feel immediate visceral shame and revulsion. They
I get with the second part, because I'm
yeah,
already
but
feeling
it's supernaturally induced. So women who feel this way both are reviled at the appearance, and they feel resentment, like jealousy, because they know everybody else wants this woman. Men are like, they both want it and feel shame at it, and they feel emasculated by it.
that.
Right?
Jeez.
So she was basically driven into the underground and made to hide from everyone. You're not allowed to come to Gathering. You're not allowed to come to Elysium. No political interactions with you. Hide in the hole and be alone, you monster. And everybody else who's playing actual monsters, mind you, right, is like, that's awful. Maury is so sweet. What did you do?
Hey, Marcus, before you go, what are you going to go see? Hopefully something good.
Yes, Zani, boneless blood spider from below.
Boneless, skinless, and not chicken wings. Ew, God. But, yeah.
Memento Mori's boneless chicken wings. It's
All right.
finger licking good.
All right, later, Marcus. Thank you so much for joining us, man. Hopefully whatever he goes and sees is really good. And you mean actual fucking monsters?
Right. Right.
I'm going to admit, I've read through the core book for actual fucking monsters, and it confuses me a little bit. Oh, Cabrini. Okay. But it confuses me a little Brit. A little Brit. Yeah. I ain't got no words today.
Well, I mean, you're talking about Grimm. Grimm's a little Brit.
Grimm's a weird guy, and I like that about him. I like that about his work too.
I like what he says in the sense that he seems very aware, and he is a little weird, which I like, but at the same time, I don't always agree with everything he says. Oddly enough, actual fucking monsters is one of those things. I understand why it's there. I also feel it's a grievous overreaction to the Flanderization of goth stuff. Like, he's right. He out of line, but he's right.
Yeah.
Because there's that, I think the sweet spot's that middle ground where you can be a noble monster, but you're still a monster.
All right, AT. Take care. Thank you
Bye,
so much for
AT.
joining us. But yeah, like the system itself confuses me a little bit. I would actually have to try to sit down and play it with someone who knows how to run it in order to really get it. But yeah, I think it's a good system. I think people should pick it up. And guess what? Miguel Ribeiro, that's how he got his start, was writing stuff for AFM. And we're talking like Sisters of the Seven Sins. Was it Orpheum Lofts and the Memorial and Welcome to St. Cloud? All of those started out as AFM games. I have those, and they're interesting. It's about a nun who stood up to the Catholic Church in Italy.
Yeah, that's
all right, cool. I will check that out. I will check that out at some point. But yeah, AFM is a really interesting system. I did like his take of how did he put it? I'm actually going to bring it up real quick because it was so good. And I read this and just laughed my ass off because it was so good. Here it is, actual fucking monsters. All right, here's the AFM digital edition. I'll be bringing it up. And I'm just going to read. I'm not going to put it. Part 1. Look, this is a niche product. in print on demand and PDF in a niche hobby. It's highly fucking unlikely that anyone buying this or playing it is going to be at all unfamiliar with role-playing games. As such, I'm not going to coddle you with definitions of all the non-unique game terms in their meetings. I'm not going to hold your fucking hand as we descend into hell. Odds are you know that NPC means non-player character and you understand dice conventions. Let's drop the fucking pretense that this is going to be anyone's first ever game and just get on with it. Part 2. In this game, you will play monsters. I should clarify that a little. You will play actual fucking monsters. You will play genuine, actual, horrendous monsters, the kind that murder indiscriminately, eat babies, and who are utterly fucking irredeemable due to their hideous nature and unnatural hungers. Absolute cunts. Supernatural monsters? Yes. Monsters with superhuman abilities? Sure. Superheroes with fangs and sparkly body glitter? No. Fuck no. No fucking way on toast. Miss me with that shit. If you're coming into this wanting a redemption arc, you're just not going to get it. This game just isn't for you. In this game, you will transgress because you have to. You will be punished for it because you deserve it. You will die on the run, beset on all sides by those you have wronged and hurt. Is this fun? Fuck yes, it is. It's just a different kind of fun to the kind that you might be otherwise used to. There's a ton of different ways to have fun. Some people have fun with power fantasies. Some people have fun with world building. Some people like horror movies and roller coasters, and some people like rom-coms and carousels. You'll do whatever the fuck you like with my game, and I can't stop you, but it's meant to be played as a hellbound nightmare of moral relativism and a vacation from being a decent human being. You can enjoy it without being a monster yourself. There's no reason to hold back and every reason to take risks. As your character, the aim isn't to win, it's to go down in an inevitable blaze of violent glory.
Brian, I actually bought my mom a copy of Kobolds Ate My Baby for her birthday one year. That tells you everything you need to know about my mom and I as in the family unit. It's like, hey mom, I got you something for your birthday. What is it? Kobolds Ate My Baby, and she's like, ooh, that's very interesting.
I have not. I'll be honest. I have not heard of Kobolds Ate My Baby. I really haven't.
Oh, it's great. You play Kobolds, and your goal is to steal a baby for the Kobold King, and all of the terrible adventures you go on because Kobolds are bad at adventuring and don't have good equipment. So, like, one guy having the pointy stick is a boss. I mean, just because it's a pointy stick. Also, yeah. I was feeling a little bit underdressed because you got the badass sunglasses, but I came prepared. I'm good now.
Good. I mean, I do. No, these are like prescription shades here, but I do have others, and I don't know that these are badass, but people have told me they really like them.
There we go.
People have told me they really like these. I do, but I'm doing this a lot because they're polarized.
Yeah.
I mean, these are too, but they're not as bad. Like with either set that are on my face. If I had my cell phone, I'm watching videos like this. I cannot watch them like this because the whole screen goes black on me. I just hear audio. So, but in any case, I'm going to go back to these.
Yeah.
Because, man, I'm going to say this. I do not have to push these up as much, but man, after a while, they hug behind the ears and right there on the nose so much that I wind up kind of in pain. Welders, yeah, they're welders. But I've got some. Well, let me show you these. I'm gonna put it to you this way. This is why I don't wear wraparounds because you see, I am neutral face, total neutral face. Same neutral face. I look pissed off.
I mean, look, they're all good for when you go out in dark of night upon your dark doings.
I don't wear these at night. I wear them until there are street lights out there. I wear them until they come on.
Wait a minute, you're telling me you don't wear your sunglasses at night?
Okay, Brian, I know you have the same haircut I have. I don't have hair. Okay, I got some stubble, but I need to take the Vanderhagen to it again. But all hail King Torg. I'll still take a check. a nice big check with a whole lot of zeros behind the one. I'm pretty sure the U.S. government can cut me one of those. They're just printing money anyway, aren't they?
We sometimes have to take a palate cleanser around here just to stay mellow.
Yeah.
Because the salt levels, they get so high.
Raising blood pressure left and right. Mr. Potato Head had angry eyes. Yeah. Look, I'm going to say this. If any of you have seen the logo, and I'll just show it to you real quick. We'll just go to background here. If anyone's seen this, GFX Katie did me, like, she got me cold, son. She got me cold with that look. And I'm going to say this, she did a great job there. So yeah, that's when I first saw it, I was like, holy shit, it's perfect. She nailed me. And it was from a photo. I literally just gave her like maybe a few photos. I was like, there you go, pick whichever one you want. And she really did a good job. That's very true. That check will only be worth the paper it's printed on. Not even that. I think the paper for the check might be inflated in price. So I doubt it'll even be worth that. By the way, the shit with WotC, the shit with Sweet Baby Inc., all of this shit, I'm just gonna say it. They're losing. They're cornered. They're pissed off. They're panicked. I get it. I get the anger. I get the vitriol, but no amount of sending the FBI and the DHS after me is going to make me buy your game.
Well, let me ask you.
Calling, none of it.
Let me ask a pertinent question, just because I'm curious. Did they actually get the FBI to do anything, or did they just ask real hard?
Actually, good thing. I think I still have that up. Yeah, and I'm going to share this. So get ready. We're going to share this real quick.
Hey, so I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the federal government just said that they're going to be spying on you playing video games to combat extremism. It seems the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security are going to be partnering with gaming companies to fight extremist gamers. Sorry, Call of Duty fans. The Government Accountability Office says that the FBI and DHS should use the same strategy that allowed them to police extremism on social media to regulate the gaming industry. And the Anti-Defamation League, super reputable, says that 20% of adult gamers and 15% of kids playing games report being exposed to white supremacy while gaming. What constitutes extremism, you may ask?
Wait a minute.
Motivated violence, anti-government or anti-authority sentiments, animal rights or environmental extremism, if you're pro-life, apparently, and all other domestic terrorism threats, which the FBI has already said includes going to church on Sunday. This is super constitutional.
Yep.
Okay, so there are two things. One, I need receipts. I need the actual formal statement from the government. A person just saying it was done is not good enough. But also,
she did have those in the background. Now, I would have to go look those up, but
right.
I would have to look them up again.
I'm not gonna make you do that. Yeah. The other thing is wait a minute. Let's consider the language here. The Anti-Defamation League said that gamers report being exposed to white supremacy. What does exposed mean?
Well, I can give you an example.
Here's the thing. If I go kill Nazis in Wolfenstein, which is a wonderful time and everyone should do it, I have been exposed to white supremacy in the sense that I'm killing Nazis. I was exposed to it.
I can actually provide an example. It's an example of something they're looking for. Friends of mine and I were in a GTA Online lobby. We're trying to grab some shit from Fort Zancudo because we're maniacs like that. One of my friends grabs a tank. The other one grabs a helicopter with a big fucking magnet on it, picks the tank up, and he's flying it around. The tank is shooting and swinging, blowing shit up. I grab an F-14 Tomcat. Another guy grabs an F-14. We're flying these jets off. We got our military equipment. We're just terrorizing Los Santos left and right. And suddenly, over voice, we get this person going, 1, 2, 3, 4, how many N-words in my store? over and over and over and over again until finally, I can't remember how it was done, but he did get kicked out. He was a troll. He was a troll. He was a piece of shit. He was just coming in to be an asshole. We knew it, and we didn't want anything to do with him. Now, if he'd come in saying, "Hey, I can help you get some more equipment, and then we'll really be a show force, and we'll terrorize Los Santos, and the police won't be able to do shit about it." Okay, yeah, jump in. Let's do it. But when he did that, we were like, "Yeah, kid, you need to go. Get the fuck out. We don't care." But Zani here says there's a task force at BX_on_X did a piece on it. So, Zani, can you get us that link? If you can get us that link, we'll actually pull it up on the screen.
Yeah, I'm not doubting people's words specifically. I'm just saying this is the kind of thing where it's all too easy to conflate what might be standard bureaucratic, we're looking, and actual, we are on this for these reasons.
Well,
Remember, the government's stupid.
I'm going to say this.
Yeah.
Look at the people they've gone after in the past 4 years. Well, actually, in the past 8, look at the people they've gone after. Look at the methods and tactics that they've used. And you tell me that you don't trust them to do anything about this. I'm telling you right now, pretty soon you will see people's doors get kicked in. You'll see people getting swatted. It's only a matter of time. As a matter of fact, I can't remember who did it, but I did post this to Twitter. There was someone from, I don't know if it was Sweet Baby Inc. or some other gaming studio, who doxed someone and posted about it and said, "Yeah, but it's them, so it's okay." Okay, slid it in DMs. Let me have a look. Here we go. Share the post. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and share this real quick.
I'm just saying that the extremists are always looking for government recognition. They need the government D, right? And the last time they tried for government representation, they went for the big one. Zoe Quinn and Feminist Frequency went for with Anita, went for the UN, and the UN said this is a waste of our time. Because it's literally a waste of their time. They're dealing with actual terrorists and actual problems, and don't need this censorious bullshit. And it was funny. I loved it. I loved them being there and basically saying, "We have no proof, we have no support, but we want you to police people's speech anyway, because we're real good for it, guys." And the UN, that organ of governance that seems to be useless, said, "No."
All right, it says, consider, if you will, a world in which your hard-earned tax dollars go to counterterrorism NGOs, astroturfing as esports teams with mission statements like this. We acknowledge that the United States Esports Association is founded upon institutions that occupy the unceded land of the Spokane people, and that the United States of America is built upon the systemic discrimination, oh God, here we go, segregation, oppression, and colonization of underrepresented and underprivileged peoples, with particular emphasis on the colonization, forced migration, assimilation, and genocide of the indigenous North Americans that have resided on these lands since time immemorial, and the enslavement of Native Americans. They were kind of doing that to each other, just kind of putting that out there. We recognize the lived experiences of these underrepresented are influenced by these realities and countless other atrocities, injustices, and inequities, both past and present. What? We duly recognize DULY. Goddamn, get a fucking proofreader, people.
I mean, DULI is a way to spell dually, but I don't think that's where they want to use that.
I don't give a fuck. The harmful and deleteriously ethnocentrist. God damn, this is just full of fucking jargon.
Right.
Blah,
So
blah, blah.
somebody had a dictionary for 5 minutes.
They should have used a thesaurus.
They did. Right. That's the problem.
That stands in opposition to the universal human right to self-determination of peoples. But wait, let's talk about self-determination. You don't give a shit about self-determination, you mindless fox. Don't give me that bullshit. At every turn, you people have been against self-determination. It's self-determination for thee, for me, not for thee. Fuck you. And most permanently through the effect and legacy of Manifest Destiny, blah, 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 and the global war on terrorism. But you're still searching for terrorists. You're searching for boogeymen around every corner. We equally recognize that the historic and present dehumanization and blah, 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 blah. I'm just good. That's it. The rest of it is just blah, 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 blah. We firmly acknowledge the historical blah, 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 identifying folks FOLKS, dumb shits. Okay? Jesus Christ, this is what I'm saying. None of them can fucking spell. Dictionary my ass. In part, through the effect and legacy of the imposition of second-class constitutional rights. Oh, like you give a shit about the Constitution. Especially through the prohibition on non-heterosexual marriage. Oh, you would enact a prohibition on heterosexual marriage if you could. And the criminalization of abortion. Yeah, pro-life. You're looking for those people too. And the passing of legislation targeting gender non-conforming people. What? Jesus Christ. And read the full grant proposal here. Okay, let's stop sharing this. This one, let's see. Apparently this is a grant proposal. I don't know exactly what it's for.
Right, that's my thing. My natural question is, was it actually ratified, or is it just a proposal? Because if it's just a proposal,
it's just a proposal.
You can write any bullshit on paper you want. That doesn't make it evil, even if it's dumb as shit.
It is. It's very dumb. Minor correction: UN Climate Change Org's astroturf. It's UN Climate Change Org's astroturfing is counterterrorism. NGOs astroturfing is esports teams. Yep. I mean, look. Government doesn't even need to. At this point, they don't even need. They could fund those studios all they want, but literally made fake esports team with this funding. Okay, so that wasn't just a proposal. All the same players are back.
Here's the thing: that's a proposal, presumably for government funds. That's not an FBI task force is hunting for gamers. That's what I want to know. Where is that statement? Where is that proof? And I understand AstroTurf is a thing, but I'm saying I want those receipts regardless.
Yes. Extremist gamers.
And I only want it on the premise that if it exists, people should be upset about it. You know?
Here we go. I got something here. And I'll share this as well. But we're actually going to see this. Extremist gamers, beware. DBI and DHS are coordinating with companies to root you out. If we can't have video games, none of you will. That's what they're saying. Now, during a time when things are rather rough for people, you would think the United States government would have a pretty clear rubric of issues to address. And while the government may pay lip service to hot button issues like inflation and immigration, the actual actions it takes suggest that America's elected officials have wildly divergent priorities. Case in point, despite all these real-life maladies affecting Americans, the Government Accountability Office put out a report in January, which was not made publicly available until February 28th, suggesting that the FBI and Department of Homeland Security need to home their sights in on video games. Yes, instead of taking a hearty stab at, the crime epidemic sweeping through America's most populous cities, the government instead appears to be focused on rooting out domestic violent extremists that exist in the video game and social media spheres. And this was an article from, this was only 23 hours ago. This dropped.
But at this point, it's only a proposal. It's not an action.
According to the Government Accountability Office, that missive boils down to 2 key recommendations. The director of the FBI should develop a strategy and goals for sharing information related to domestic violent extremism with social media and gaming companies. The Undersecretary for Intelligence and Analysis should develop a strategy and goals for sharing information related to domestic violent extremism with social media and gaming companies. But while the GAO may recommend that the FBI and DHS, of which intelligence and analysis falls under, improve their snooping on Americans, that hardly means it's not already happening. Despite lauding the GAO's positive recognition of DHS's mechanisms for sharing and receiving threat-related information, the DHS agreed that more nosiness was needed when it concurred with the 2 above recommendations. So even if you were to assume that the DHS and FBI have nothing but cleanest intentions, a mighty large assumption. While tracking down these extremist gamers, has either organization demonstrated much to engender your trust lately or ever? You know what? The FBI are the good guys. I'm going to say that. When Fox Mulder and Dana Scully are working for them.
So
that's it.
So here's the thing. This is the fun part. I'm listening to you read this article, and it's positing, oh, you can't trust the government because the government is known for evils. Certainly. Right? But the thing is that they've already undermined their own point, because they're saying this proposal will suggest that the FBI do a thing they're probably already doing. Of course they're already doing it. Of course the government's already watching you. So why do they specifically need a public permission to do it? All you're saying is, yes, we want to endorse the cover story so that you can keep doing an invasion of my privacy. So that's retarded.
And this is from the Bleeding Fool here. The FBI and DHS have mechanisms to share and receive domestic violent extremism threat-related information with social media and gaming companies. Now, they don't define what that is. That's the problem.
Right.
The report reveals that the DHS Intelligence Office meets with gaming companies and that the companies use their meetings to share information with INA, DHS's intelligence officers, about online activities promoting domestic violent extremism, even simply activities that violate the company's terms of service. Through its 56 field offices and hundreds of resident agencies' subordinate field offices, the FBI receives tips from gaming companies of potential lawbreaking and extremist views for further investigation. The FBI also conducts briefings to gaming companies on purported threats. So it's more. Now, commissioned by the House Homeland Security Committee, the GAO investigating spanning September 2022 to January 2024 was prompted by concerns over domestic violent extremists' use of gaming platforms and social media. Although no federal law explicitly criminalizes domestic violent extremism as a crime category, the U.S. government categorizes threats into 5 areas, including racial, ethnically motivated violent extremism. But all those anti-white sentiments, they don't violate terms of service, do they? Anti-government and anti-authority violent extremism, animal rights, or environmental violent extremism, abortion-related violent extremism, and other domestic terror threats. All I can think of is the awful track record of the FBI when it comes to identifying extremism. Hassan Piker, a popular Twitch streamer, told The Intercept. Piker often streams while playing video games under the handle Hassan Abi, and added that the feds are much better at finding vulnerable teenagers with mental disabilities to take advantage of, which they have.
I'm sorry, carry on.
Unlike more traditional social media companies, which in recent years have developed public-facing policies addressing extremism, created trust in public safety teams, and released transparency reports, online gaming platforms have not utilized these tools. Well, no shit. They're private, dumb fuck. You guys have heard of like the 4th, 5th Amendments and the rest that like kind of keep police at bay, that keep government at bay, right? I mean, I cannot have been okay. Let me just. Some of you are older than me. You officially have no excuse. I paid attention in civics class. That is a violation of the Constitution. Video gaming has been the subject of federal law enforcement and intelligence investigations as a means of radicalization and as a backdoor communication platform for extremists for a few years. Now, how many times have we been called conspiracy theorists? And yet, how's this not being shared? I don't get that. That this should be. I thought for a second that was going to be shared. I'm sorry. I thought this was America. Here we go. There we go. So it's all right here. No, here we go. The Anti-Defamation League has testified to Congress multiple times about the extreme misuse of gaming platforms, possibly without a shred of evidence. In 2019, the ADL's then senior vice president of international affairs, Sharon Nazarian, was asked by Representative Ted Deutsch of Florida if gaming platforms are monitored and if there's a way AI can be employed to identify those sorts of conversations because they're so great at writing and drawing, right? Nazarian replied that gaming platforms need to be better regulated, put under government control. We'll stop using euphemisms there. In light of the 2022 lawsuit that prohibited the Biden administration of federal agencies from communicating with social media companies to fight what they consider misinformation, there are obviously constitutional and legal questions about America's right to free speech when it comes to federal agencies and gaming companies working together to mitigate what they determine to be the spread of violent extremism. Ladies and gentlemen, if I'm playing Call of Duty, it's a very violent fucking game. My character dies, I'm going to say fuck. And I'm going to bitch about the substandard equipment I was issued. Well within my rights. Personally, I say jump off all of them. Jump off every fucking one of them. Go back to for the people who are like, why are you still playing solo games? This is why. I mean, I can still look. I don't have to go voice over my PlayStation 4. Still got a PSP right in here. Got a Game Boy Advance over there. That's the type that flips open. I also got a Nintendo 3DS sitting right over there. I have plenty of video games to play. I even got one of these little guys around here somewhere. But it's just this little device I got for like $2, and it just has these like little platformer games on it. It's pretty cool. I have fun with it. You know, when I get a spare moment or something like that, I'll pull that out of the pocket and start playing it. But I mean, fuck's sake, this is what happens. This is why I tell people when people are like, man, why are you playing all that tabletop shit? You just play video games, man. It's a lot easier. Okay, well, when the power goes out, I can still play. And Joe, you mentioned this once. You buy one book, use your imagination. You can go back to it for about 40 years. There's no compatibility issues. It's a full game.
No cutscenes, no load times, and my personal preferred selling point, in addition to an expense comparatively, is sometimes, just sometimes, if you do get together your friends, you can have actual human contact, possibly with members of the preferred sex. I'm just saying, do you like occasional titties? Would you like titties to actually come to your house that might be into you? Play some D&D. It could happen.
Okay, Zani, I'm gonna say this. Your point taken, because I have a lot of DLC for Cyberpunk Red. I do. I got a lot, and thank goodness they offer this for absolutely free. That Cyber Chair was one of the first things that they offered for free, and I was like, oh, cool. I went and downloaded it. They have an entire section on our Talsorian games, which is called DLC, and it's downloads. And pretty soon, they're going to have another book on Kickstarter. I say pretty soon, I don't know when. That will take Cyberpunk Red and the 2077 universe and kind of bridge that gap. So they will have that pretty soon. However, when it comes to tabletop games, I have Castles and Crusades. Many of you have seen that shelf. Yeah, everything after the Player's Handbook and the DMG and the or the Castle Keeper's Guide and the Monsters and Treasures book, everything after that is DLC. Everything.
with that in mind, I think this is very pertinent, especially if you guys are thinking about getting a thing. As you know, I want to say OSE, and I
Yep.
got Swords and Sorcery. I want to say, right? I am still, to this day, I'm actually pulling it up here. Yeah, OSE. I am still getting free add-ons from the OSE that I supported once. So like I'm still getting Carrion Crawler and other material to make my OSE game better if I get to run OSE.
Yep. And I've got some other OSE books. Primarily one of them, Modern Necessities.
My man.
Yeah. And again, congratulations to Victor, because he fucking deserves
Victor
it.
needed that win, man. He was feeling low ebb. The extremists were getting to him.
Victor just deserved that. Just in my opinion, and look, I'm gonna say this: I basically bought the same supplement. How many times now? We had Simple Modernity for any OSR game. We've had Modern Adventurer's Guide to Guns and Gear. We've had Modern Necessities, and I think that was about it. Let me have a look. I know I got them pretty much all in PDF here. Pull that up and have a look at my library again. Yeah, my library folder. Let's see. How big is my library folder? I wonder.
Too fucking big.
Probably. Let's see. It doesn't tell me, but there we go. And my RPG section. And I'm going to be looking for, I think. Nope, there it is. Okay, so Simple Modernity, Modern Necessities, and the Modern Adventurer's Guide to Guns and Gear. So, correction, actually, this will make the 4th time I bought that supplement. And Simple Modernity was the first one. Basic rules for modern day theme play, OSR compatible. So, he made this, and I of course had to jump on it. And you got some like fairly bog standard stuff. The specialist is going to be like your technician, possibly your hacker. Yep, hacker, egghead, demolitionist, snipers, survivalists, contract killers, the works. It's all medics even in this book. Psychonauts. So you got those remote viewer types, wheelmans. You got a whole bunch of firearms in there. Man, I could have used a little spacing, but yeah, there you go. Just a whole bunch of it was basically a supplement, like you could use it for like basic fantasy or something like that. It was pretty cool. And I thought that was great. And then he jumped into 5e with the Modern Adventurer's Guide to Guns and Gear. And then Modern Necessities was strictly for OSE. I can't wait. I think OSE has become one of his favorites, and it's definitely one of mine. I like OSE.
And
I
they're
still
good to
use basic fantasy to bring people in, though.
And they're good to their contributors. Like if you say I'm making an OSE thing, they're like, "Hey guys, have you heard about this OSE thing this guy is making?" And it's like, nice.
Yeah, they do. Necrotic Gnome does a good job of actively supporting the people that support them. But well, I didn't have anything to do with this one, but I still need to pick up a copy of this, the first edition, in print. That's another good one I'd recommend.
I gotta get my shit finished so that I can get it. I can get a Wolfgar plug. That's what I live for. I don't want money. I don't want fame. I just want a plug from OSR people going, "Hey man, check this out."
Yeah, and I gotta say this: there's so many other independent creators out there doing, just getting out there and doing it to it. I say support them, because these big companies, they don't give a shit about you, and they've made that very, very obvious.
In matter of point, I don't know if I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, and we're overtime anyway, so fuck it. There was a night I'm puttering around doing my thing, and Wolfgar, who had probably had some TLC, some THC, who knows, maybe both. He messages me. He's like, bro. I'm like, what? You're like, you crazy, bro. I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, I finally got around to reading your book. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, the fuck is wrong with you? What do you mean? And he starts talking about, your book is full of evil and dark things, and I love it, but holy shit, man. And I'm like, well, I mean, yeah. And it was so full of evil that I had to split it into a second accessory. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I took the space stuff and it's gonna be its own thing. And I'm like, here's some things there. He's like, oh my god, because it wacky. So that's what that's my thing, is that as much as I obviously want the ducats, when I joke and say that I just want the plug, I also want to see more creative industry in a creative industry that is game making.
Well,
just because, not just mechanically, but thematically, people have gotten really lazy with like following a couple tried and true paths. I mean, I'm working full time. I'm busting my tuchus. I'm trying to find the time to write, and oddly enough, Brian, mechanics are hard to put together. It is actually difficult not to come up with the idea, but it's like, okay, I have an idea. Now, how the fuck does that work? I don't know. My brain is like stupid. But if you're like, can you describe to me something cool? I'm like, yes, of course I can.
yeah, that's gonna be my other thing. And since the OGGM took the whole supers prison thing off my plate, again, I thank him for that. I only have 2 to work on, and one of them's gonna be for Hammondsville, the other's gonna be for Sand Cove, so that way you can still play Vice and use this as something else, a resource that you could play around in. It's gonna be touching on the very lurid topic of the whole women in prison genre from like the 70s, 80s, 90s direct to video, those grindhouse films. That's what that's going to be touching on. Or you could play it as straight as you want. Like he said, once the book's out of my hands and into yours, it's out of it. Once the book's into your hands, it's out of mine. So do what you want with it.
There's a perfect example, Wolfgar. I invented a piece of wretched slang that you could use in your book.
Yeah.
Do you not recall this? We have the term Hammetville ham.
Mm-hmm.
Hammetville ham refers to a roughly 10-pound child, because there are dark people in Hammetville who require children for various things.
Now that's interesting. That's the part I kind of found interesting, because I was like, that's something that could be kind of incorporated to bring that horror element to Wretched is the New Black, which is what I'm currently writing.
Well, I obviously your focus is more of a grindhouse prison element.
Well, there's gonna be horror too. I mean that.
Yeah. The thing is,
it's gonna be violent, lurid, and of course, horror.
The thing is not even talking about game. I hate to tell people, crime can be horrific. Innately,
absolutely.
just
100%,
practical crime. When you get to the point of made men, like you're doing a film noir, right? And you do that, think of that funny scene from Snatch where Bricktop is talking to the guys, and he's talking about how you cut up a body into 6 individual pieces to feed to pigs.
Yeah.
Right? Take that, now reconstructualize that as a Blumhouse horror scene.
Jesus Christ.
Right? This guy walks in, this guy sits down, this guy begins to opine to slow, careful piano music about the nature of feeding man to animal, and it's like
do you know what the word nemesis means? a righteous infliction of retribution, manifested by an appropriate agent, manifested in this case by a horrible cunt, me.
Me.
By the way, look, I got something we could close out on. I posted this to Twitter last night. This is probably one of the most disturbing things I have ever read. And contrary to what some may think, I actually did enjoy this one. This came recommended. I really don't pick up mainstream anything anymore, but this one came highly recommended by a friend. This one is very dark. So if you want noir, this is it. And this predates the Dark Knight. Of course, Brian Azzarello wrote this. He's also done some other work, which it's very, very dark. Very, when I say very dark, I'm talking like super dark. And this was, 2008. So this is a compilation originally published as Absolute Joker. That was when. So yeah, this was 2008. This was prior to just before Heath Ledger's Joker. So we can actually kind of see the similarities there.
I've read this.
Yeah, this was good.
No, before Ledger's passing, there was actually serious consideration about whether or not Ledger had pulled from Azzarello's Joker. It's apparently, except for maybe visually, coincidental. I'm not sure I believe it, but it was discussed.
Yeah. A couple more that I picked. These were actually the first ones I picked up. These are brand new, by the way. Had to because of Rob Liefeld. Love this one.
Is it any good?
Haven't read it yet, but I do love that cover. And actually, I love this cover. I did not get the Rob Liefeld cover. It wasn't available for number 2, but I picked it up because, hey, number 2, I want to read this. I'm hoping that they're good. I'm going to say this. It's not that Thundercats that we got on Cartoon Network, which was
the 2011 Thundercats.
Yeah.
No, that Thundercats is a victim, and we have to be sad. That is an early example of what we're dealing with right now.
And finally, because I don't know if DB is still with us. Issue number 1 had that little slight ding here, so the guy who was holding it for didn't want to pick it up. I was like, that's cool. But here's the really cool part. It's all new stories, but the artwork is in black and white, and it's printed on newsprint to really give it that old school vibe. I mean, those darks are dark, son. And I was like, you know what? I'll take it and read it, and if I don't like it, I never have to pick up another issue. I've started reading it. So far, I do like it. As a matter of fact, there was a scene where a man was decapitated. Let's just put it that way. It's super brutal, but I picked those up. Oh yeah, in other comics news, I got man. I have the Just Go cover. The art is great. Yes. Okay. Yeah, it really is. It's good. I'm enjoying it. The Yaira trailer dropped. I don't know if anyone saw that. I thought it was cool. I have a couple issues with it, but I thought it was pretty well done, except for the woman stopping to scream, "Solari, save us." Eesh. After reading Alpha Core number 1, that is not the guy you really want saving you right then and there. He does not think his actions through. Okay. I'm just saying. But Queen Mickey decided to come after me. She was not asking a question. If she did, it was a loaded question. There was a back and forth. She deleted all of her tweets and then hid mine as though no one would see them. And then dared to call me disingenuous. Oh, he's disingenuous. He does not deserve to be on my feet. Okay. Okay. I enjoy fiction just as much as the next guy. I just find the reference section a little more appealing there. So, of course, we know how I feel about Ethan too. But anyway, I did pick up Yaira. So when that one comes out, I'll have that one. I'll read it. I'll review it. Also, John Delarose, Cosmic Warrior. I picked that one up. So just waiting for that one to come in. After Overmind, I've got to see what his John Carter-ish take looks like. And I did also pick up there's an Ayla Wren novel I did not know existed. I found it. I picked it up on Audible with a credit and posted a screenshot to that saying, I'm not waiting for the next one, man. I gotta have my Ayla Wren fix. So I do recommend Overmind. It's a really fun one and full of that whole Buck Rogers aesthetic. I think people will like, especially if you like classic sci-fi. So that's just where I want to close it out. I close it out on a fucking high note there. Got some comic books to read. I'm still reading through Solitary Coventry right now. I will let everyone know as more emerges. I'm actually talking with Lady Adnor right now because the stuff I'm finding is just like little nitpicky formatting stuff. There's the information is still solid, so there may be another edition of that book coming out. I just got the very first copy of it. I told her I was going to be one of the first standing in line. I didn't know I was going to be the first. So if you're looking for information for your practice, I still recommend going and picking it up like now while it's in its what I call its infant edition there. And we're going to watch it grow up. We're going to watch it grow up and mature and really do some really make some progress with solo practitioners such as myself. I do a lot of things solo, I guess. I don't know. Solo play, solo practicing, solo practice, it's all there. So I don't know. What do you recommend? Any new comics coming your way?
I'm sorry, I just had a sudden brain think, and I was like, there is a lot of overlap between paganism and tabletop gaming. And I've never been one for covening, for coveners. Not because if people aren't happy with it that they shouldn't, but because there's a lot of grifters and a lot of scam artists out there that are more interested in cults of personality than actual personal enlightenment or veneration. And it just hit me. It's like, that's the same kind of people that want to make your gaming experience terrible. So now I'm wondering if, in fact, the people that want to make my gaming experience terrible are the people that coven.
I'll put it this way. I've been part of some groups, through the years.
Yeah.
When they start taking a political stance, that's when I know it's time for me to go. Because we're not there for learning anything about our spiritual path. We're there now to act like we're better than everyone else.
Well, see, my mom went to an event once. It was in summer. It was wonderful. It was the equinox, and it was a bunch of pagans, and my mom was not happy. And I'm like, wow, what's wrong? And she's like, this is nothing, right? And I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, and we're watching them do the ritual. It's on display. It's in public, right?
Yeah.
It's some Gardnerian high ritual sorcerers doing the drawing down of the corners in traditional Wicca. Nothing wrong with that if that's your thing, right? But my mom said they're drawing down the power, right? They're doing the ritual, but they're just doing the ritual. They're not doing anything with it, right? They're not promoting healing. They don't have a specific focus. They're doing the dance for the sake of doing the dance for the proverbial cracker of being seen doing the dance. That's not the responsibility we have as practitioners. As this becomes the Greyhorn podcast, and that's the thing, is like, what is important in gaming? Well, the game. What is important in gaming when your focus is on the game? Well, the players. How do you maximize fun for the players? By a combination of not being a dick and running the game the best you can. And when people are like, what's running the game the best you can? It's like, well, it's not just by the rules, but it's by the spirit of those rules. And it's not including your personal politics, your personal religion, your fetishes, any of that additional unsought material into the game. We don't need it. We don't want it. It's not required. Right?
You know what? I want to add one other person to this, and I kind of saved this for the end. And
also, Cal Vanoni is an alien in disguise. This is known. Tell the world. Tell the government.
Yep.
Cal is an alien. He escaped from Area 51. He's on the loose. He wants to probe you.
And this comes from Aristophones, who said, "Fuck it, I've kept quiet long enough, and I won't keep quiet anymore. My frustration with the current state of the gaming industry and the rise of a certain diabetic fetus that won't lie down. There are many things I'm willing to tolerate that I probably shouldn't. High gas prices, increased cost of living, the decreasing intelligence of the American collective, just to name a few. Now, this is going to be more of a stream of consciousness rant than anything, and it's something that I promised myself I was going to do less of because of the toll it takes on my health. Nevertheless, with everything I've witnessed and read over the past few months, because let's face it, news of Sweet Baby Inc., what they're doing, what they hope to achieve is everywhere, and it's nearly impossible to escape. So what is Sweet Baby Inc.? They're a consulting firm based out of Montreal, Quebec, with their fingers in a lot of pies and brown eyes, both figuratively and literally speaking. These are people responsible for a lot of the woke disasters we've seen in the past 6 to 8 months. Don't believe me? Have a look for yourself, which is what I pointed out. Source Sweet Baby Inc.'s website. Yes. I go on a rant on just how vile these people are, but it's already been done by people much better than myself. The story's been told. These people keep telling on themselves on an almost daily basis, or from clips posted from GDC. They are being exposed, and rightfully so. These are truly violent, disgusting people who want nothing more than to drive out the old guard of the industry and take it over, which I'll get to, but I'm not going to enjoy it. But I'm done. I'm tired of it all. I have been for years, and I've kept quiet about it. I've tried to enjoy myself in the hobby, and I've tried to enjoy myself in the hobby I've enjoyed since I could first pick up a controller, unlike a majority of people in the gaming industry today. I'm done. I've kept quiet for a while. I'm not going to keep quiet anymore. I'm going to pop off. I don't care who sees. Get ready, motherfuckers. It's going to get loud. One, they have always hated you. Even since before Gamergate, I knew the rot that was settling in, and I believe it all started with a woman named Anita Sarkeesian, known for feminist frequency, which went defunct just last year, and her tropes versus women in games. A woman who knew fuck all about video games, yet somehow managed to swindle money from gullible morons who knew even less than she does. Long story short, she got a lot of attention making videos about how sexist the depictions of women in video games are, even got caught faking one of her points with Hitman Absolution, among other things. I feel like since her series and beginnings of Gamergate that the hate and vitriol for gamers really started to settle in, because it was around this time that the narratives started to get spun, especially after the hobby started to become mainstream. And we all know what happens to something when it goes mainstream. Just look at the state of movies, comics, and tabletop, for example. Then Gamergate happened, the result of gaming journalists simping for Zoe Quinn, a charlatan who not only stopped a charity event to get women into the gaming industry, but also drove a man to end his game because he was harassed into doing so by said simps. Ever since this, gamers have labeled any and every form of istanphobe there is, and there are even new terms being coined to hurl at gamers specifically. Why? Because we have committed the unforgivable sin of thinking for ourselves and not buying into the bullshit that mainstream gaming journalism and media outlets are pushing. Don't believe me? Check out the Gamergate wiki. The audacity of these people who started the fight to begin with to label a consumer revolt against a fraud of a human being from being protected by games journalists who were getting special favors, they were fucking her, in exchange for favorable reviews of a game which is no longer available on Steam. Fast forward to most recent events. Some scumfuck at Sweet Baby Inc. tried to get a Steam curator, Cabritas from Sweet Baby Inc. Detective, canceled from the platform, get his creator banned for what else? Harassment. And yep, there's the screenshot there. I fail to see how a Steam curator designed to help people avoid your games is in any way harassment. If you're so proud of your work, then why lead a harassment campaign, which is against not just Steam TOS, but Twitter TOS as well? But don't worry, karma got to this asshole, which I'll get to later. It's recently come out with the intention of Sweet Baby's existence is to subvert and take control of the gaming industry. And if you think they aren't already succeeding at goal, well, look at who's doing business with them. And he got a really good screenshot there. EA, Ubisoft, Squeenix, WB, and WotC were the ones I was aware of. I knew the situation was bad. I had no idea how deep the rot had seeped into the industry. So it's not a wonder. We've seen a lot of bloated design, mediocrity, and just straight up fucking garbage coming out of the industry. Does Skull and Bones ring any bells? You know, the game that was supposed to be the world's first quadruple A game, but was so broken at launch it was unplayable.
Oh, God. That game amuses me so bad.
The sad part about this is that the gaming industry that was bought into by gamers today this is a sea of live service games, battle passes, season passes, remakes, remasters, and microtransactions out the ass. See, that's something you'll never get with tabletop games, ladies and gentlemen. It is clear that the people in the industry have no respect for gamers and that it's all about the money anymore. It's not about making a good, or God's forbid, a functional game, but it doesn't matter what gamers want. It's all about the vocal minority of people who don't even buy or play video games, any games really, getting offended at shit they've never paid attention to for years, but now suddenly it's a problem. And the thing you have to understand about these people running the show is that none of them care about any of this or any of the issues they proclaim to have a stake in. It's all about one thing and one thing only: control. They know they can't spread the message if no one is paying attention, because for years, whenever options were taken away from me, I could find another avenue to get what I wanted from my games and thus ignore the bullshit. But they will keep taking away our options until we have no choice but to listen and believe the garbage spewing from their mouths. This is not the entirety of why I'm mad at these vile creatures. Oh no, far from it. Number 2, the slandering of Toriyama. May he rest in peace. Akira Toriyama.
Wait, they were slandering Toriyama?
Oh, we're getting there. We lost a legend on March 1st, 2024, a man who needs no introduction, Akira Toriyama. If you watch Dragon Ball, read Sandland, or play Chrono Trigger, you know of this man's work. One of the most important men to ever exist, and by far one of the most influential men in pop culture throughout the world. His passing was so unexpected that he is still being mourned even today. Hell, I just recently started to play Dragon Quest VIII, Journey of the Cursed King, in honor of his passing, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. Back when I first got into the PS2 disc, I didn't have the appreciation for it then that I do now, and I am glad that I never got rid of it, because this is the most enjoyable gaming experience I've had in a while that doesn't feel like busy work, but that it is a story for another day. As I stated in the beginning of this article, there are many things I'm able to tolerate, but speaking ill of the dead, especially only days after the announcement of his passing, is something that I absolutely cannot abide. And boy, there we go, Chris Kindred again. Toriyama gave us the best and worst black characters in anime in the same series, and it took range to do that. He's got a whole video of it here. What kind of disrespectful, subhuman piece of garbage do you have to be to say things like Chris Kindred and others have said about the man after his passing? This is absolutely despicable behavior. Fucking garbage human beings. Now, I'm a firm believer in karma, that everything you do, whether good or bad, always comes back to you. So it's a good idea to keep yourself balanced. Well, this motherfucker got exactly what he deserved. They got my ass. I'm guessing a few hundred gamers reported me. So his account was locked for a while. And when I learned about this from various YouTube personalities and videos, the anger I felt was immeasurable. I even had to stop writing an article I was writing for the Substack previously to cool my head. It's one thing to not like Dragon Ball. That's fine. It's certainly not for everyone, but to disrespect the man and his work, especially characters like Mr. Popo, a character based on the mythological Jin, as some sort of racist character, you know you are an ignorant fucking moron. I shouldn't expect any less from the people who had to run and hide like cowards after their agenda was exposed. Yeah, all replies are now locked. Their tweets are protected. Look at them. They're on the run. Let's keep them that way. There's a silver lining to all of this, and that is that Sweet Baby Inc. will eventually die once that sweet ESG money runs dry, and it will. The only thing that they will be remembered for is a painful reminder of how not to do business in an industry. While Toriyama-san will be remembered for generations to come for his contributions to anime, manga, video games at large, it is heartbreaking losing a legend, someone who has helped to shape my childhood, discover what it is to rise against overwhelming odds, even when things are at their darkest. He took me across countless worlds through incredible journeys, helped me save countless worlds from evil, even took me on trips through time itself. But I know He would also not want me to mourn him forever, so I pick up my sword and start again. Rest in power, Toriyama-san. Thank you for everything. Number 3, the time has come. For too long, I've altered course, avoiding trouble where it's reared its many ugly heads, just seeking new experiences while watching the world continue to turn and the culture war continued as it did. I've seen companies take shots at their own customer base for not towing the line of DIE, diversity, inclusion, and equity. That's what it does. Which, let me translate that for you, which means these people. Diversity, not white. Inclusion of everyone that believes as they do, shunning and exclusion of anyone else who doesn't buy what they're selling. Equity, the term is painted as equality of outcome or everyone getting exactly what they need. It's nothing but a ruse and a substitute for putting people in positions they more than likely aren't qualified for. I've seen companies I love turn their nose up at me, claiming they know better than I do, and that I should just shut up and eat the shit they're trying to shovel into my mouth. Yeah, just consume. I've seen vitriol spit at people for no reason other than merely disagreement, and I've experienced it personally. Now, I only speak for myself, but I hope I can reach some of you readers as well. I won't fucking have it. I'm tired. I'm tired of being told that I'm a horrible person for enjoying a game merely for the sake of enjoying a game. I'm tired of having my escapism taken away in favor of another person's subjective perspective of what realism is. I'm tired of realism. I don't play games for realism. I play games to enjoy an idealized world of fiction and escape from the real world for a little while after a long day of work, something that these fucking pieces of garbage know nothing about. I am tired of being called a sexist for enjoying the female anatomy or being told that real women don't look like that, when I could probably point to you to countless examples of women that look like the idealized women we see in fiction. I am tired of representation, which is not even real representation, but tokenism. True. I am tired of seeing already established franchises ruined by people who not only hate the things I love, but instead choose to inject their narrow-minded perspective of how certain people are, when in fact is nothing more than an erasure of history. Something these cockroaches, let's replace cockroaches with cocksuckers, are all too keen on doing. I am tired of being called a racist for calling out racial swaps of established characters that make absolutely no fucking sense. Looking at you, creators of the Netflix Castlevania series, that not only race swapped Isaac, but Annette as well. I'm tired of being called an oppressor and a colonizer when I'm of mixed race myself, and being forced to take responsibility for things I have never done. Amen to that. I'm tired of everything, and it's time to do something about it. Readers, if you learn anything from my ignorance, remember well that I'm about to tell you these people over there hate you for not thinking like them and will gaslight you until you submit. Do not give in. They think that they know better than you, and believe that if you enjoy older things, you are lower than dirt. Do not tolerate it. They want to control you, your every thought, your every action, every aspect of your life. Do not let them. They want you silent because their ideas cannot stand up to the scrutiny of open marketplace of ideas. Do not be silent. They think that they are the good guys. When I last checked, the good guys didn't need acknowledgement that they were the good guys. Show them that they're wrong. They think you're evil and that they are justified in everything they do to you, from belittling you based on your beliefs, from trying to take your job and means of earning a living. Remain vigilant. Use VPNs, people. I'm telling you right now. They want to tell you that you should and what you should and shouldn't like. Stand firm. Take pride in what you enjoy. Vote with your wallets. And for the love of all things holy, do not give in. Even if a company tries to coerce you into buying from them again by giving you what you want, this is a ruse and a sham. Show them their blatant trickery will not be tolerated. Even if Sweet Baby Inc. dies, and it will inevitably die, like feminist frequency before them, just know they will find a way to come back. They will be using different tricks than they were before. Remain vigilant. Don't give in. Fight back. Thank you all for reading. If you enjoyed what I have to say, please like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to enjoy some Dragon Quest. I not only liked it, I commented, I restacked that. That was, he initially said, this is going to be like me just stream of consciousness screaming, but I found it well organized. I found that he did really well with this one. And I think, I think he did really well, personally. I got to commend him on that one. I agree. And here's the thing. I'm not even a Dragon Ball fan. Like Akira Toriyama's work, it really wasn't quite my thing. But anyone who wants to enjoy it, go enjoy it. Have fun. Enjoy that. it's just not for me. You know, nothing against his work, just wasn't for me. That's all. So I don't know, man. I agree with him 100%. That's why, as much as I want this whole thing to be over and just get back to fucking gaming, and I would love to, it seems like they're like hell bent on doing this. And honestly, I think it's time. We don't need to intimidate or harass them. We really don't. I'm gonna give everybody that. Call out their bullshit, laugh at them, mock them, ridicule and shame them, close your wallets to them. The only sound they need to hear is this: the sound of your wallet snapping shut. They're not entitled to your money, no matter how much they want to say. No, they're trying. Look, again, all the name calling, all the spin. It's the 21st century, not the 19th. We don't use gaslight anymore. All of that shit, and now sending government after us. I have even more reason to keep that wallet closed. You're not getting my money. I'm not buying your games. You work with Sweet Baby Inc. You're done.
I'm gonna invoke the words of one of my friends who's a bit of a weirdo righty radical. Everybody's always saying taxation is theft because they want to talk about, you know, small government and the like. But think about it this way. If taxation is theft, what do you call people saying not only can you not enjoy the things you like, but you have to pay me for the privilege of being wrong? That sounds like a tax for having the wrong politics.
Exactly. Well, I'm not paying it.
Yeah, I already paid my taxes for my game material at the store. I'm not paying you a tax for owning it.
Yeah, that's it. That's all there is to it.
Also, this has been the voice of the revolution. We are now a half hour over our goal.
Yeah. So I think that puts the end cap on this whole thing. So to any gaming company working for Sweet Baby or being a client of Sweet Baby Inc., guess what? Wallet's closed. Bye. Fuck off, Felicia.
It's okay. You can kick the baby. Kick the sweet baby. Kick the baby.
Kick the baby.
Kick the baby.
So as much as it pisses me off, I gotta say, like, I've got my games. You know, I think I'm good. I got my comic books. I think I'm good. I got my books.
I mean, this is why they dying, man. When we talk, you were talking earlier about the gaming industry is in collapse and they're freaking out. But you know why? And it's not just the pandemic. It goes farther back. They were living so large for so long, they never planned for a downturn.
Yep.
Right? And if anything, the
pandemic strategy.
If anything, the pandemic was a lifeline. It was a little buoy to keep them up for a bit. And they still had no plan for what happens when the good times stop rolling.
Well,
so,
that's with any company. It's not just them.
Right.
There were plenty of other companies that thought the gravy train was never going to stop. Now that it has, they're putting their employees on the hook for it. They're putting us on the hook for it. And we're just saying, no, absolutely not.
And that's why they want to. That's ultimately the real reason. When you ignore the superficial politics stuff that is still damaging and still awful, that is the real reason that they are so desperate to get you on board the hype train and get excited for next product. Because if you know that you can play your own shit with your own way, like it was in the olden time with your friends, and they get none of that, they're upset. That's why they want subscription models. Yep. That's why they want to make everything digital, because they want to make you a dependent so that you play their game in their way and that you keep buying from the company tit.
Yep. That's it.
Don't look at Critical Role or any of these other guys, Matthew Fox, whatever, who are saying stupid things. Don't look at fucking Wesley from Star Trek and see the human being, even though they are human beings and we should still think of them as human beings. Listen to what they say and try to figure out what corpo is puppeting their asshole. That's what's actually going on. Yeah.
Just watch what they do, because what they do, fuck what they say. what they do is going to be a better indicator.
Right.
If
Right.
you want it to go away, stop buying it.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying, is that as human beings, they might have different positions, but what they're doing in the public eye for their companies, for their game properties, there's a corpo behind them propping that up.
Yep, every
Right.
time.
You know, I'm serious, guys. You know how this went, okay? At some point, somewhere, Matt Mercer and peers got brought into a small office with a bunch of guys, and we're like, "Look, we're gonna step away from the Critical Role property because of some recent embarrassing racial stuff that came up. You know, with your new 19th century gamery and this candelabra obscura thing. Yeah, we're gonna step away. But you know, WotC's not actually letting you go. We're just taking a sidestep. But you'd like us to help fund your next industry? You'd like us to help you out with that? Well, sure, we can send you some money under the table. We can make some connections and some meetings happen. Just front for us and say exactly what we tell you to say, which is what happened. We know that's what happened. All right? These bodies are not separate. These guys are not apart from Wizards, and outside of as far as their lawyers are allowed to let them say. They are still good friends with their former friends at Hasbro, because Hasbro did them good, and Hasbro's going to continue to do them good by doing you.
Pretty much, yep. But I think the best news, and this is, I think we can cap this off with some good news.
Let us end on high points.
Actually, nope. Cal here. Here we go. Okay, this will be lucky for indie creators, and that's what I'm saying. Start buying it from independent creators. Number 2, if you're on a blacklist, pair with everyone else on that blacklist, because I'm going to guarantee you right now, if you're on that blacklist, guess what? You're the competent talent they ran out. Make something else. Make it independent. We will, if it's good, we'll buy it, and we can watch all of that burn right from our fucking window. That's it. That's all that it ever needs to be. And of course, these weak motherfuckers, they don't know anything else. But you sent me something. What the hell is this? Dude,
that's great. That's some words to live by.
Steal back your life, yeah. Or in the words of Ice-T, snatch your brain back, zombie. Snatch it back and hold it.
But I just sent you a message. I think I've got $1 million idea there, man.
Yeah.
I think that's a solid idea.
I think that's I've had this idea, and I've said this over and over again. If this crypto thing goes well for me, and I think it will, first thing I'm doing is I'm setting up my farm. I'm gonna do a great homestead there. Second thing I'm gonna do, start a publishing company. I know plenty of people, all independents. And the thing is, they would still own their own stuff. I just want to publish it and print for them. And I think that's a great name for it. Just blacklist publishing. We'll publish what you won't. And, and of course,
hey, that fucking worked for Sega, man.
It did.
Sega does what Nintendo don't.
Yeah. And then on top of that, like whatever profits I can make from that, just invest them into like Big Geek Emporium and Giant Slayer games, and start rivaling Drive Through RPG. Just get both of them. That way they're boost their visibility. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's how you do it. I'm not trying to force anything on anyone. We're just going to make, it's going to be the Troll Lord Games philosophy. We make games for the sake of making fucking games. We play games for the sake of playing fucking games. We think you deserve the fucking time out of the hustle and bustle, so you don't wind up like, what's her name? Kim Bellend or whatever her name is, and Matt Walsh, and you don't wind up a joyless fucking pedant. Simple as that. But I think that'll do it. I think that wraps up for the day. Wow, almost 45 minutes over. All right, so I'm gonna get out of here and get some lunch because I'm hungry and I've got ramen and chicken and hot sauce. Just calling my name.
Wolfgar is the classier one. He doesn't have his breakfast on stream like Joe. He's just like.
Well, I do have my tea. That is my breakfast. It's literally called English fucking breakfast, dude.
I know, that's the thing. Is like I had that food that's probably gonna be both my breakfast and my lunch because I'm like that.
Anyway, I want to close out by saying, remember, all of you who tuned in, thank you so much. For all of you liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, thank you again. Just real quick before I completely close out, I did shoot this as a video yesterday. I promised I would post it yesterday. I didn't. Again, right after I posted the first video, got fucking sidetracked and nothing else happened. This has been happening a lot. But to produce the tarot video content and that sort of content, it takes a lot of time. For every few videos I'm producing that'll cover a week, I'm spending a full day doing it. So it takes time. It takes a lot of work. And then I have to wait for it all to go live. I got really lucky yesterday. It all went live very quickly. I was able to get that out to you. Unfortunately, I just don't really have a lot of time. That's why these tarot videos have been getting scaled back. I should probably do a reading for Sweet Baby Ink. See what their prospects are.
On the plus side, I was on time.
Yeah.
I was here.
You were here. Yeah, you were here. And honestly, I think I'm going to try to get like some more short form content out, because I want to make up for that gap in the longer content. But again, having a job, having other responsibilities, it takes time. So just thank you for bearing with me, guys. I really appreciate it.
And it might be toast just because of scheduling, which is sad because I was really enjoying 4 against the
great old one. Yeah, I'm still trying to get in touch with Manny.
Oh, I know. I'm hoping it works out, but we gotta get something rolling. We gotta get some bones rolling. I don't think it is ever appropriate to have a gaming centric show where you don't play games sometimes too. It's just a thing.
I mean, I've got a lot of them up here. I got Lamentations up here. I've got Old School Essential, Swords and Wizardry, Night Shift, Wasted Lands, Cyber Rats, Shadow Dark.
We know what we have to do. We have to get some paper and some slide rules and some long division with some dice, and we just need to do Traveler Care Gen.
Oh my god! Slide rules.
We'll see if I can Harry Kim again.
By the way, there's one game I want to bring up. This is actually a really good game. This was a lot of fun. So if you like Judge Dredd, this one takes on more of that like Mega City Old West pre-Judge Dredd.
I know there was a Kickstarter. I don't know if it's still going. But there is actually a game that's coming back. That if it is back, my god, I wish I could buy it. Because my parents had a copy and had a lot of fun with it. Did you hear Ace of Aces is back?
I am not familiar with that one.
Ace of Aces is a game that uses little flip books, right? And on the flip books are pictures. The pictures are the position of your biplane, and it recreates dogfighting.
Oh wow!
Like World War I dogfighting.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. Your goal is to get into a position where you have the opponent in your sight so you can shoot them, right? And their goal is to avoid that and get you in their sights so they can shoot you. And you just flip back and forth through this book using little like numerical keys at the bottom to identify your positionality in the air. It's really neat. If you've never seen it, like, check it out.
I'll check it out. But anyway, everyone, thank you so much for bearing with me on this channel. Thank you so much for your subscriptions, your likes, your comments, your shares, your subscribes, all that good stuff. It's you guys. You're helping the channel out. And another thing, I've been doing private reading. I've been doing a lot more private readings lately. So that's the video content I've kind of had to produce. And some of them I've had requests for doing it live. I've been doing those as well. It's nothing for me to do it either way, but at least with the video, you get it uninterrupted. You get it whenever you're ready. And thank you to everyone who has dropped in for one of those, because you guys are amazing. And I just wanted to say, just remember, to all of you who are out there doing all that stuff, I love you all. I want you to take care of yourselves and each other. I want you to always do and play what lights you up from within, because that's most important. Stop letting these people dim that. Don't let them do it anymore. All right? Take care of yourselves and each other. Always play and do what you love, whatever lights you up, and as always, shine on.